Good evening. In honor of passing of Charlie Kirk, I'm going to begin tonight's show with a moment of silence. As most of you are aware, Charlie Kirk was murdered while he was at an event earlier today, shot by a sniper rifle, presumably from the roof of a nearby building, when he was hosting an event, a Prove Me Wrong event, in which, ironically, the shooter clearly was incapable of proving him wrong, and in lieu thereof decided to assassinate a caring father, husband, religious person who subjected himself to trying to carry out everything he ever understood about the Word of God, and was, by all accounts, every bit the noble individual that his millions of fans believed him to be. I never had the privilege of meeting Charlie Kirk or interacting with him in any way. But like you, he had a profound influence on me as well. And this is a very, very difficult thing to process. It's a very, very difficult thing to comprehend. And I think that, and I hope, first and foremost, I want to express my condolences and prayers for his soul and for his wife and children. My condolences to them. This awful, senseless loss. This awful, senseless, brutal horror for a man who never preached violence, never preached hate. And what's really sad is that even now, there are some people who are so pathetic as to feel that this is like a moment to celebrate. This is a moment to be proud of. And yeah. Trying to remedy spammer in chat. Apologize for that. But he never wished ill on anyone, and all he was ever seeking was a better American society. And for that, some lunatic took his life. And for those of you who feel the loss, I express my sorrow and condolences. We're all in the same place with this sort of confusion. And one of the things that I plan on talking about a lot tonight is the notion that this is something that feels like a turning point. It feels like it's a turning point for this country. It may turn out that it's not at all. It may turn out that, those of us who feel like it's a turning point are simply feeling an over emotion. It's very possible. But to the extent this is a potential turning point, that turning point could either turn us into something horrible or it can turn us into something, a country that actually starts to heal. And given everything we've all heard Charlie say throughout his life, I'm sure it would be arguably his greatest legacy if, in fact, it helped lead toward the latter rather than the former. He was not someone who was violent. He was not someone who ever preached violence or hate. He was someone who could engage in conversation and skillfully debate with anyone on any political topic, and seemingly would just dominate his adversary without ever denigrating them. And that is something that is so lost in our culture today. That is something that benefits society. He was the embodiment of every positive reason to encourage unfettered free speech. Just by the way he engaged in free speech, he was the perfect embodiment of free speech, where he gave others a chance to talk, express views that were different from his own, encourage that, and encourage discussion, encourage conversation, encourage feedback and criticism. As a litigator, one of the things I think most kids who grow up dreaming of being a lawyer, they don't picture themselves sitting in some office drafting contracts. They all picture themselves standing in a courtroom and bringing forward an argument that is just so dominant that people buy a mic just to drop it. That's the dream of every kid who, dreams of growing up to be a lawyer. Every kid I've ever heard, whoever wants to be a lawyer, they thought they were really skilled at debate. And I've heard many skilled orators, many skilled debaters. And I'll tell you that Charlie would have held his own with any of them. He was really able to digest, and part of that is part of why he was so great with respect as far as being a representative of phenomenal free speech, in that he would listen. Most of the time when we engage in debate, we're almost tuning out what the other side is saying, and even if we're not cutting them off, waiting our turn to interject and just walk past whatever it is that they were saying and just say, no, you're not hearing my point, and just restating your own point louder or perhaps in a more clever way without actually digesting the argument that the other side is saying. And one of the things that made him so potent as a political debater is that he did listen. And he would listen to the other side's argument and he would debate back. The founder, I just posted right before I came live here that it's ironic that in death, Charlie Kirk perhaps has brought America to a true turning point USA. He, the founder of that organization, which has been so influential and helped change the landscape of this country, it almost certainly is what cost him his life. So I think that he was a champion of free speech. He was a champion of Second Amendment rights. We're going to see how some people on the left are trying to use this as an opportunity to, what would be, in my opinion, piss on his corpse before he's even in the ground, by trying to use this as a basis to argue for tighter gun control. I mean, that's like basically seeing him dead and suggesting you throw him in a blender. Like, why would you say such a thing about a man who never would have ever had that take about this? So he gets murdered and then people like have a take like that. It feels repugnant. It feels really ugly. I understand that people have an agenda, but it's a very, very ugly way to try and twist twist everything about him. So we're going to be talking a lot tonight about his life and his death. I have a guest who's coming in here and joining me. I told you last night that I plan on having a guest join me. And I forgot to actually send him the link. I'm going to do that right now. He's going to be joining me. I asked him to join me at 10 o'clock. So it gives me an hour to spend with you guys when we start to process this. And then he's going to come on in here. So I'm sending him the link now. And what I am going to say is I heard a lot of people on the right basically call for some sort of payback. And I cannot stress this enough. That is no less a perversion of everything that Charlie Kirk stood for than people who try and use his death as a basis to argue for tighter gun control. You'll often hear me railing against the left far more than the right. And I'll probably be railing against them more tonight than I will. Tonight will probably be consistent in that regard, but there is some railing I'm going to do against the right. And that is to say this: if you're one of these people who are saying, that we need to punish them, some sort of collective punishment, I'm not even sure what that even means. Obviously, this person who, I've heard mixed reports as to whether or not he's been caught. Someone was arrested, and then they say that he was not the right guy. So I'm not sure if some of you have reports that can confirm whether or not they've actually apprehended the correct shooter. But what I would say is that we all obviously want to see him prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I'm simply saying, if you're calling for some sort of similar retribution, if that's what your response is to this, then you never heard anything Charlie Kirk actually said. Any more than Elizabeth Warren saying that this is a call for stricter, tighter gun control. Neither of you ever heard what he said. You might have listened to him, you just never heard anything he said. Because there is zero chance, and you know it if you think about it, there is zero chance in hell that Charlie Kirk ever would have had that reaction. And he would have been angry at anyone who had that reaction. So if you're sufficiently inspired and outraged by his assassination that you think that there's some sort of action that has to be taken, at the very least, and if you have that much respect for the man, then you should have that much respect for his position as to what would be an appropriate response in this moment. And retribution / violence is the very last thing I could ever imagine Charlie Kirk calling for in this moment. So if that's what you're calling for, perhaps you should consider what does his soul sit there thinking if he hears people actually trying to raise that type of banner in his name as part of his legacy. I think I have very little doubt that his soul is heaven bound. And I think the last thing that he would want is for his soul to be stained with the notion that his assassination would be used as a basis to induce violence. Like I said, that's the same type of thing as throwing his corpse in a blender. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. At the same time, and I was on a space, and I apologize to those of you who follow me on Locals. I normally try to tweet out when I'm on into Locals when I go into a space. I was on a space for a brief bit today, and I was talking with someone who I strongly disagreed with, a friend of mine, someone I consider a friend, someone I've met, one of the few people from online social media world that I've actually met. I met at the inauguration, diligent denizen. And he was of the opinion that people who call out, the left as being evil are ratcheting up the violence talk no less than anyone else. And I strongly disagreed with him and stated so in that space, where I said, look, anyone who's ever watched me knows that I have no tolerance for political violence. And I think it's incumbent upon anyone who has a microphone which is being heard by more than 10 people that they routinely tell their audience that this is not a time for political violence. Don't get violent. Don't think that violence is the answer. It just leads to more destruction and more destruction. That is not what is called for in this moment. And I think that that's incumbent upon anyone who has influence on the public in any way, shape, or form. I think it's responsible and I think it's mature. And I know that the clickbait might tell you to do just the opposite. But because I'd get a lot more clicks if I started railing here, calling for blood. I know that. Everyone knows that. That's the easy thing to do. I'd probably be up over a couple 100,000 subs in 2 months if I started pounding that message. And I will never do that. Because that's not trying to help America. That's just looking out for yourself. You're not caring about your viewers. You're not caring about your subscribers. You're not caring about anyone other than yourself when you advocate for that. And I think quite the contrary, that part of being a responsible adult, someone who's actually trying to help society, that if you're influencing people, that's incumbent upon people like me and people whose channels may be significantly larger or significantly smaller than mine, to tell our audiences that no, hell no, do not engage in violence. Don't promote violence. Do not celebrate violence. And that's a really, really important thing. But the area I disagree with Diligent Denizen on is that I said, I think it's because he was saying that when Elon Musk labeled the left as the party of murder, he thought that that was divisive and he's labeling half the country murderers. I didn't see it that way. I didn't read Elon's tweet that way. And what I said to him was, it's incumbent upon us to continually speak out against violence from our own followers and make sure, no, you don't even start punching people. In fact, you shouldn't be bullying people. You shouldn't be doing anything like that. But to be vigilant in calling out things that are evil, saying this is an evil perspective, this is an evil take, this is wrong. I gave him the example. I said, when I talk about people who are looking to promote what I consider one of the biggest evils. So when they advocate for transing children, Frankensteining them, I think it's essential that we call that out as evil. If you don't call out evil, then you're enabling it to spread. You're implying that it's okay, and it should be identified as being evil. But that's very different from saying that that anyone has justification for engaging in physical harm, even of these doctors or parents or teachers or whatever, who are promoting that type of lunacy, and certainly not the kids themselves or any adult who engage in transing. That's insanity. I said people actually are the ones who are transitioning. Said, if anything, I look at them with pity. I think that their brains have been turned to mush by their environment, and I genuinely feel bad for them. I feel as if they've been preyed upon, much as someone who's physically assaulted as a child by a parent has been preyed upon by that parent. This is an assault of the mind, which has damaged them. That's not someone I should be angry at. That's not someone I should be spitting at, or God forbid, thinking of doing harm to, or certainly not bullying them. That's someone you feel bad for. That's someone you try to help. Because too many people have been butchering their psyche. And that's what I think is important. I'm not looking to go off into that topic for any further, any more than I already have. I hope to not even having to bother talking about that the rest of the night. But the point that I'm getting at is with that topic, as with all topics that we're talking about here, whether you're talking about that or illegal border crossings and the notion that we should bring everyone in here and how self-destructive that is, we have to be able to freely call that out without being afraid that in so doing we are inciting violence or inciting something wrong. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with calling out evil. There's nothing wrong with doing that, and we should. It's important because calling out and identifying evil helps prevent further evil from spreading. But at the same time, those people, you might have a channel that's smaller than mine. You might have a channel that's bigger than mine. You're watching right now. I would urge you to continually try and press to make it as much as possible about the argument, not the individual. And perhaps I slip too much in that myself. Certainly when I'm identifying certain leaders, I'll call them out and I'll perhaps say too much. I'll express too much of my genuine disgust for particular individuals. And I think that the one lesson I could take from this, which I think would be a way of honoring Charlie Kirk's memory, is instead of calling out this politician or that political thought person as themselves, as as them being the sinner, the evil, or the monster, but to very specifically and articulately identify their position as being monstrous, their position as being twisted, their position as being perverted and evil, rather than they themselves being that. And I think that distinction is important, while at the same time, to explain why it is I think that. And that way, you're opening up an opportunity for them to step away from that position. So no, I don't think that, and I do think that leftist ideology, I think a lot of it is destructive, very destructive. Anyway, this is going to be a long show tonight. We're probably going to be here for a little while. We're going to be looking at different comments that have been made by different people. I'm going to be looking at different positions that have been said from both the left and the right. Perhaps we'll look a little bit at some of Charlie Kirk's influence. I'm definitely going to talk with you about Charlie Kirk's influence. I do think you're going to like my guest tonight. Not someone you've ever seen here before. I interacted with him on Jim Tells You, and it was, and we had like really good dialogue, and I felt like it could be something that would be productive. And I wasn't even sure about bringing him on tonight after I heard about Charlie Kirk. But I spoke with him and I told him that I wanted to have like an hour of just us talking, and then I'll bring him on in here. Let me catch up on some of the chats and then we'll get more into it. Nathan, may he rest in peace. My heart breaks for his family, especially his wife and kids. I hope they find who did this evil act swiftly. Amen. You didn't hear the horn. I did drop a horn, but maybe we'll skip the horn for tonight. Maybe tonight we'll take a night off on the horn. But he could keep Charlie's legacy alive by speaking the truth with facts, humility, logic, and respect for humans. God bless Charlie. God bless his family and friends. God bless all of us. Amen. Amen. JH says, this proves we are all living in a third world country. I'm sick over this. God help us all. A lot of us are. My tears keep falling. He was the same age as my son. What do we come to? I'm gonna have a conversation with you about that during tonight's show also. Like, where are we at and where are we going? This is gross. God bless his family. I don't like FBI communications and timing creating confusion. Are they scrubbing this person's online profile? I'm so sad about this day. Yeah, it's a little strange how we heard he's released, and now it's the whole situation is very, very odd. If any of you hear there being updates of like any reports from the FBI or anything like that about this situation, you can link me in so I can cover it live. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes. So if that happens, I'd like to share it with you guys and watch it with you live. Joe, during hour 2, can we listen to what Trump just said when he spoke about Charlie? Oh, you see, that's exactly. If someone sends me a link on X, I'll pull it up and we can do it sooner than hour 2. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can get it fast. I see 39 seconds. It's got to be longer than that. I think I got it. Okay, we'll pull up in a minute. Thank you, Nana News. Thousands of kids live live, witness this event. They need our prayers too. Yeah, it's got to be very traumatic. Evil triumphs. I mean, just the nature of how he ended up being shot. If you haven't seen it, and I cannot show it on YouTube. There's no way. That's exactly the sort of thing that would literally get me a strike. My stream would come crashing down, I think, before I finish. But the blow struck him in the neck. When I first saw it, it was a 4-second video, and within the first second is him talking, and by second 3, it looks as if there's at least a pint of blood from his neck on his shirt. Like, that's how fast. Like, he got hit in the jugular. That's what it looked like. It looked like he was struck in the jugular. That there was no way. There's no way anyone was going to survive that. Just the blood loss. It's horrible. Evil triumphs when good men do nothing. This is true. And we should speak out against it and call out evil. That's different from engaging in violence, though. Sending love to all those just praying for more peaceful existence. Amen, Wims. Amen, indeed. Beck Nichols says, Joe, this is a dark day for all of us. Thank you for being here tonight. It's a comfort. I love you, brother. Love you too, brother. Beck Nichols has been watching me since like my 3rd kid was born. That's how long Beck's been around. Yeah, I see Trump made a statement. Let me pull this up. I have a 4-minute statement, so I'm going to pull this up now.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the 2 young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
I'm sure many on the left are going to be outraged by his statement. When I pulled this up, I searched for Charlie Kirk and Trump. And I see 2 of these videos here. I don't know when this is from. This seems to come up a lot. I'm just curious what this is. So I just want to pull this up real fast, and I'll weigh in with you my further thoughts about what Trump said tonight.
Fox News decides Donald Trump is president of the United States. We've got our republic back, folks.
Let's go.
There it is.
Everybody should remember this moment. Look, I'm gonna echo Charlie from earlier. Remember where you were when this happened. Remember where you were when you realized that the Uniparty and all of these, just the establishment, you said it's time to actually participate. And look what you guys have done.
And if anyone deserves to get tears in his eyes, it's Charlie. I think we all agree.
I think Erica was chopping some onions or something in the break room.
No one has worked harder than Charlie for this.
We gotta hear some words here from you, Charlie. You put all this together, my man. Let's hear it.
I am just humbled by God. It's all God. It's all God. God alone. God alone. Decision desk has it. Pennsylvania. It's beginning.
Sorry. Wow. I was right for that one. Wow. So, yeah, as I said, he, you can just, anyone who met him can just, you could see how much, like his joy, first of all, like in his moments of joy that he's thanking God. It really tells you everything you need to know. But you tell he's motivated by a hunger to make America a better place. Like he just wanted to make the world better. And I've gone through like a range of emotions where I was like feeling like anger. Like I understand that many people would be feeling anger. I get that. I get that. But like, I don't know. Maybe I sometimes joke that some people look at the world as as glass half full. Some look at it as half empty. And I really try to look at it not just as half full, but I can see there's clouds forming in the sky. It's probably going to rain soon. So perhaps it's, my pie in the sky optimism, which says that, maybe this can be something which there can be some genuine good that comes out of it if we have the fortitude to rise above an instinct for feelings of retribution and violence and actually try to get back to a place where this country is not about one side feeling like the other side is evil and the other side feeling that each side thinking that the other is pure evil, but more get back to what Charlie was so dedicated towards trying to inspire, which was genuine debate without it being about who's saying the words and being rather than the power of a concept of an argument of looking at facts and logic together. And if we can even start returning to that, I think that's a way of really honoring his memory. I can't watch either the Kirk video or Irina video. I just can't. It'd be too much. Yeah, it's a horrible thing. It was a horrible thing to see. Oh, thank you, Nananos, for calling to my attention. Brian Oldenkamp, my God, thank you, brother. Thank you. Love you too. Thank you. It's very, very generous of you. LB, you're very, very welcome. There's a part of me which wants to rail. And I'm sure I'm going to be ranting sometimes. Look, that's part of, when I see something, I just sort of feel an emotion. I just sort of go with it. But, you know, this is, I first heard about this story. I didn't know that he was already gone. The first thing that I stumbled on, because I was busy taking care of stuff this morning, and when I started checking social media, I stumbled on this video.
Pray. We can pray, God, that he survived this. Pray for his family, pray for his children, his 2 young children, and ask ourselves what our country is coming to. How does this happen? How does somebody whose only job is to comment on political matters wind up a target for an assassin? This is the United States of America. We have commentators. We have provocative commentators. This is what we've been doing since the dawn of time. Pray. We can.
That was the first thing I saw, which was alerting me to the fact that he had been shot. And then it was a few minutes later. I don't know if I have it here. I have so many different links. So many different links. And I didn't really have a chance to sort through them. But it was John Solomon who I heard confirming that he had died. And yeah. It's what's really just sort of just mind-blowing, and I'm sure people will be talking about this a lot, is the last post that he supposedly sent out was this. You consider the nature and how he died.
This was one of the coldest, most senseless murders I've ever seen. She had no interaction with this guy whatsoever. She was sitting minding her own business, and he just takes out a knife and just decides to stab her. I do say this with some form of just heaviness. I don't like politicizing situations like this, but it just necessitates it because there are so many dynamics at play here. This was...
I mean, that he's talking about the brutal murder of Irina Zarotska. Senseless from someone that, the victim had never met the murderer before. And that's like the last thing that he posted. And then if you actually, look at the shooting, like literally the last words out of his mouth, he's talking about, someone's asking him a question about violence and murder, and he said, are you talking about gang violence? And that's the last word he ever said. Which, that's crazy. It's really crazy. They killed the American dream personified today right in front of us all. I mean, he was a personification of the American dream. That's true. And that he built a business which became, internationally known and took over the country and was incredibly influential. He founded it and nurtured it to what it was. But the American dream itself, to the extent it's still alive, some people would say it's not. But to the extent the American dream, the possibility for the American dream to be alive, that still, I think, is here. I don't think that that's really gone. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, that he was the American dream and they mowed him down. Yeah, a lot of us have, Lynn. A lot of us have. Joe, can you believe all this happened since your Reichstag video way back? I can't believe where we're at in this country and this world now, your brother. Tell your producer I said hello. We'll do Cash. Cash has been following me for a very long time. the Reichstag video that he's referencing is a video I made on January 6, 2021. That right after that happened, I was laying in bed and I looked over at my wife and I was like, and I said, they're going to use this as a basis to try and punish the right. Like the Reichstag fire. I was like, they're going to use this the same way the Nazis used the Reichstag fire as a necessity for control and to clamp down. I do not want to, so I made a video where I basically showed imagery from January 6th, all the rioting and stuff like that, and I read, and the overlay that I had was I was reading a passage from the Holocaust Museum, which was describing what the Reichstag fire was and its impact on German life. So I just read that passage while showing imagery of January 6th to draw that parallel as to what we were seeing. And I just called the video the Reichstag fire. YouTube made me take it down because they weren't allowing images of the violence that happened on January 6th. But that ended up turning out to be very prescient. Now, one could say that this could serve as a different kind of Reichstag fire. And I think some people on the left are reading that into what Trump said in his comments. I think it's very possible that some are reading that. I don't want to see this as a basis to try and clamp down on the left. I think we need to call out their violence. I don't want to see the state come in and try and punish them. And to the extent that Trump may have been implying something of the kind, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe in that. That's not, I do think that if people are being funded towards engaging in violence, those people should be prosecuted. That I think would be a really good thing. To the extent that there have been rallies and things of that nature which have been motivating violence, not necessarily assassinations, but motivating Antifa and putting up brick pallets in places that they know there's going to be pallets of bricks in places that there's going to be marches and things of that nature, the places going to be rallies. I do think that we should be prosecuting the people who are trying to enable there to be more violence. That would be great. That would be great. We'll call that the Charlie Kirk Act. I think that would be great to try and use this as a basis to fight against political violence. Try and punish people who engage in political violence. Because look, this is an assassination. This is political violence. This is a way of trying to silence the right. This is a way of trying to control the right. That's what the left is doing here. And I don't mean, I'm really not talking about 98% of the people on the left. But I'm saying the radical extremists, that is what they're trying to do. And I do think that some of the leaders are pushing them in that direction. I told you all yesterday that I was going to be bringing in someone who I thought I would be able to have engaging conversation with. And now I was going to be bringing him in tonight. And when Charlie Kirk, the news broke about Charlie Kirk, I was thinking twice about it. I'm like, I don't know. He's never been here before. And I'm putting him in a little bit of an awkward spot. But still bring him on in here now, and if he's terrible, we'll throw him out. Okay, we'll just we'll get rid of him.
Really, that's your introduction for? Come on.
Welcome to the welcome to the show, Cynic. How are you?
I appreciate it, man. I'm good, man. The news of today is I think it's a watershed moment.
I got to balance your levels because I think you're a lot louder than me. So I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if you're able to are you able to lower yourself or should I lower you?
Yeah. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's much better.
Yeah, I think it's a watershed moment, and what I'm concerned about is it being a flash in the pan, right? Because it was a political figure, but it wasn't a politician. It wasn't, something like that. But I do think it is a turning point in this country right now, and I hope young men and young women see what Charlie sacrificed his life for, and it was, in my opinion, wrong think.
Right.
He disagreed.
He disagreed.
And
they wanted to silence him.
That's it.
Yeah, that's no, I agree with your assessment of that for sure. For sure.
It's as simple as that, and that is a dangerous thing because eventually everyone in this country is going to disagree with someone. Right?
So what in what way, if you could wave your magic wand, in what way would you use this watershed moment that you call it as a way of making the world a better place?
You've got to get active. You've got to get active in your local politics. You've got to teach the younger generation, which Charlie Kirk was going towards and was in front of every day, which is what made him mad, that this is the danger, right? This is the danger of our society. They're not going after you because you have guns or because you listen to a certain type of music or you dress a certain way, or even if you have a certain religion. It's just not agreeing with them. And you've got to teach the younger generation to stand up for what you believe in, no matter what. I think Charlie knew that he was going out there every, day in and day out in a dangerous situation. Yeah. And he still did it.
His life had been threatened many times.
Yeah.
Now, even when someone's life is threatened, I don't know how seriously they take it. Like, what I'm saying? Like, there's so many keyboard warriors out there and people who will just, yell out all sorts of lunacy about what they're going to do. Yeah, that they're just some keyboard warrior.
They're just screaming into the void.
Yeah. So I don't know how seriously he took it. Although I do think that there was a couple occasions where he was, assaulted. I don't know, punched, but like things thrown at him. Like someone like throwing like a cup of a cold drink and splashing his face. That sort of thing. That I think is something that he experienced, and he certainly sparked and polarized a lot of anger. There's no question.
Yeah, because he didn't bend, right? I watched a lot of Charlie's debates, and he didn't bend to someone's will based off of their emotions. And we've got a generation of kids that are they're emotion based, they're not fact based, and that's what Charlie was preaching a lot of the times. Like, and I hate to quote Ben Shapiro because he's not my favorite commentator. But facts don't care about your feelings. And we have to teach that. That's what Charlie was doing. Now taking these threats seriously, the problem now is we've allowed a MSNBC and all these people to call all these commentators Nazis, dangerous, evil. We've allowed that to happen. Nobody's pushing back on it. Yeah, we go on Twitter, right? Like you and me go on Twitter and we say, we'll call people out, but what does that actually do? Right? The right doesn't go out and protest these people. We just don't. The conservatives don't go out and stand in front of MSNBC and say, Charlie Kirk's not a Nazi, quit reporting that. Because that's dangerous.
You brought that up, and I actually have a video here of exactly what we were talking about, which someone put this out. This is why Charlie Kirk was murdered.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under
Unbelievable.
investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to
Drink
stop
more, Nancy.
Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
So there you go.
It's man, 90% of that stuff, probably 99% of that, even on Elon's Twitter, if I posted that, right, I'd be nuked from orbit, and there would be an FBI agent probably knocking at my door within 24 hours, and they would take my computer and they would be discussing what I said, just because I am on the conservative side of things.
Certainly during the Biden administration, you know, that's what it felt like. I don't know if it's still like that today. That you know that if you're engaging in free speech of that nature, I don't know if that would happen today. But certainly during the Biden administration, when he got up there and gave that you know what I call the red speech.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When he was talking about how, you know, ultra MAGA is the biggest threat to this country.
Yeah, it's well, I do know there's been a lot more of my friends on Elon's Twitter that have been banned for wrong speak, which is crazy to me, than what there was before. So that's still a problem. Yeah, Elon has bought it, and it feels like it's a lot more free, but you still need to be careful out there, like I said. And it this boils down to just having different ideas that other people don't like. And when you have all the leaders championing violence, what do you want to do?
You know, you talk about Elon's platform as if it's, you know, so right-leaning. And I'll tell you right now, last night, actually earlier this morning, I was on X, and I had sent out a post about the whole Irina Zarutska murder.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who I respect, who I'm sure a lot of people watching are big fans of hers, as they should be, Andrea Burkhardt. She's an attorney who I've live streamed trials with. She's great.
Yeah.
But she took this position because I was basically saying how these dangerous democratic policies are what created, you know, this system where this guy, you know, is roaming free, and where the crazies are roaming free, and there's no push to like do anything to keep society safe.
Yeah.
So what she responded by basically citing how Republicans have been running the state of North Carolina for a while now, and that they have a third fewer beds available per capita than what they're supposed to have, and, you know, one of the bottom third in the country. And, you know, so she asked me if I have any comments on that. The reason I'm bringing this up is, so I was like, okay, in my brain, I'm like, there's a lot more violence from crazies today than there was when I was, let's say, even your age, which I assume you're in your mid to late 30s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I was like, there's a lot more violence from crazies today than there was then, and I started asking Grok, why is there more craziness from violence today? From why is there more crazy violence today than there was, the end of the last century?
Yeah.
And Grok was very defensive, saying, no, that's not true. That's not true. You're wrong. And statistically, it was worse in the 90s. And I was just like, and I started looking at different and trying to analyze different things. It was adamant that it's no different today, and kept stressing, violence that's committed by insane people is a tiny fraction of overall violence in this country, and basically taking every possible leftist way of looking at it, until I finally asked Grok. I said, document for me, decade by decade, how many subway pushes there were in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, aughts, teens, in this decade. Break it down for me.
That's what you posted earlier today, right?
Yeah, and that is
what
so that's what. So it broke it down for me, and when it did this, it said it didn't have records in the 60s. It said from 1975 to 1975 to like 1990, there was a total of 49.
Yeah.
And then it said this is during a 15-year period. It said from 1990 to 2000, during the decade of the 90s, there was between 10 and 12, which is like one a year.
Yeah.
Between 2000 and 2010, there was between 10 and 15.
Okay.
And between 2010 and 2020, there was 150.
Jesus.
Right. And
there's no problem, Grok.
20 to now, there's already been 125 or so plus. It's at 125 plus in the last 5 years.
God.
It used to have 250. Meaning, so I was just like, so I started yelling at Grok. I was like, how do you tell me that there's no change at all when we have literally 10 to 20 as much violence from subway pushes? Like, well, not all subway pushes are from crazy people. Sometimes it's just people are angry. I was just stop it. Just stop it. Like, it's like you're trying so hard to spin around. It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable.
No, it's wild, man. And Grok, like I've got a lot of friends that do AI stuff, and they'll do that. They'll try to see what Grok. They'll ask it outlandish questions or questions that are right leaning, and it almost always sways to a left leaning answer. ChatGPT does the same thing, and you can trick it and tell it to like, just be honest with me. Here's the numbers. Here's the facts, and it'll eventually work its way around. But its initial thing is sweeping for the left, and this is supposed to be everything is upfront, everything is freedom, everything is honest. Elon Musk's Twitter, and it's hey man, I'm just saying I like what Elon does with it for the most part, but there's still a lot of things to work out, and I don't know what to say.
It's not that it's right leaning. It's just that we're so used to living in an environment that is drenched with left leaning stuff that if you see something that's a little bit like okay to like be there, and you're not going to be inundated with like woke garbage, it's like I'm free here.
Yeah,
I'm totally free here.
Yeah, it's conservative, isn't it? That's what it is, but it's not.
Conservative here.
You've just been given a little taste of it, a little sample of freedom is what it is. But we've been so starved for it, man, since I was a kid. We've been so hamstrung, like just like hemmed in with all of these rules and regulations, and can't say this and can't say that. That a little taste of it makes you think you're completely free. And you need to pay attention. I really think a lot more people need to wake up and pay attention to what they're trying to take from you. Even conservatives. You know what I mean? You look at the Lindsey Grahams of the world, man, and look at what they try to do.
I wouldn't call Lindsey Graham conservative.
He's not, but he's a rhino. Let's be honest. Cocaine Mitch, look what he was trying to do for years. they're all the, you know, I'm a firm believer that they're all just, you know, wearing the same clothes, waving different flags. You know what I mean? That
100%. Yeah, if Cocaine Mitch or Lindsey Graham were, you know, living in a West Coast state and became senators there, they would be screaming out, you know, promoting abortion. They're completely political animals, and they don't have any belief in something.
No.
But instead of taking money from Planned Parenthood, they took money from the NRA because you know they're in a red state.
Yeah.
It's really
I come from a political family. It's one of the reasons why I do have I don't reveal my face, or you know, I have a, you know, an avatar and a screen name.
While I have you here, it's good opportunity for me to ask everyone, like, you know, tell everyone who you are, where you're coming from, and if you have a channel. And well, this way I'm introducing you to the audience instead of just bringing you up here as Cynic. No one knows his real name, Cynic.
Yeah, I am Stimulated Cynic on Twitter. You can find me at Ambient Aristotle. I started my little internet shindig career, whatever, like actually doing political stuff, like, you know, just getting into fights with like lefties and stuff. I've been blocked by Sean Astin like 3 or 4 times over arguing about Hillary Clinton.
Nice.
It's you know, that's a good head to have on my wall, a good wall mount right there. But I got exhausted with politics a few years ago. And when Trump, they arrested Trump, you know, and done the whole Mar-a-Lago search and everything, I got active again because I said, well, obviously you guys are hiding something, right? And so I did that and really sort of like push for Trump to get reelected. And then after this election, I fell into the little scene called Comicsgate and started a publishing company, Imprint Publishing, and started a YouTube channel called FFS Podcast with a group of guys where we cover a lot of, like, you know, indie comic news and joke. It's just a group of buddies that, you know, sort of play grab ass on the internet and joke around and have fun. But we cover everything from political stuff to funny stuff. But we mainly, because we're all publishing indie comic books, we stay in that vein a lot of the time because there's a lot of wild people in there. So that's the long and short of it, man. I've been doing this now. I've been doing live streams now for a year. I started with a group of friends, then moved over to FFS with my buddy Ruby King and the 90s Router. You can find both those guys on YouTube and Twitter also. And
all right. The elevators reach the top floor, so
that's it.
Okay, cool. I was like, you gotta learn how to, like, you know, condense that into, like, you know, 45 seconds.
45 seconds is all you wanted?
Yeah.
Well, you should have sent me a text. I would have done that.
No, I'm sorry. Next time, tell us all about your Aunt Muriel and, like, you know, 3rd grade projects, science projects.
Of course,
everyone wants to know all about that.
Yeah.
So.
No, but that's
let me catch up on some supers here and pay the bills. All right. Joe Case says, I'm just so tired of Joe. I don't have strong opinions about Charlie, but I'm heartbroken for his family and the state of our nation. God help us all. And I'll tell you right now that I'm not going to put on airs that I had, you know, that like, you know, I'm sitting there as a diehard Charlie fan. I liked his ability to argue. And you know, I enjoyed tons of clips of his, and I had mad respect for him. And I feel, and like Joe K over here, I feel like heartbroken for his family.
Yeah.
And I do think it's an opportunity for us to honor his legacy. It's an opportunity for us to, you know, that the way he conducted himself was a role model, which, you know, should serve as an inspiration, because it did not simply benefit the right, but having that type of dialogue is benefit for all Americans, even those who disagree with them. Just so that it's not about, well, you're a fascist, you're a racist, you're you know, you're going to hell. It's a matter of, you know, arguing ideas, and that's something that has been lost since Obama hit the scene, pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wasn't overtly political until Obama got, you know, elected. And I voted for Obama in 2008. I was a young man in my late teens, early 20s, and I was like, heck yeah, man, that's what I'm going to do. And my grandfather, who was an avowed Democrat up until then, he said there's something different about this. And I'm not. The first time in his life he voted Republican.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I voted McCain, but that's not something I'm actually particularly proud of because, you know, I still voted McCain.
Yeah, exactly right.
I still voted Romney. That's not something to be proud of either.
Yeah,
So,
I voted
you know,
Romney the next time, and I hung my head in shame as I was casting that ballot. But you know,
the Reichstag vid made me a follower. Oh, cool! Really? I didn't know that. Good Lawgic. It should be required in schools. Thank you so much. I would air it right now. But I don't think that they're gonna. When I was mad at YouTube. I was explaining to them about the Reichstag video. Were you watching when I was explaining that?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So those of you who just joined, Cash earlier mentioned a video I made called the Reichstag fire, which was basically, if you're unfamiliar with history, Reichstag was in 1933 sort of like the parliament building of Germany, and it burned to the ground. And when it burned to the ground, it launched. Adolf was already, you know, like second in command under Hindenburg, I believe, and he basically ended up asserting all sorts of control. They blamed the communists and used it as a basis to assert all sorts of control, very fascistic, and in the actual sense of the word, policies against communists, and saying that, you know, we have to protect ourselves from these violent communists.
Yeah,
and I identified January 6th as the Reichstag fire moment potentially for America, where the Democrats were going to use that as an opportunity to say that the right is violent and a danger to society. So I read a detailed description from the Holocaust Memorial Museum where they talk about and basically explain the Reichstag fire. And I just did a reading of that while showing imagery of January 6th. So YouTube yanked it down because they said that you can't show that. And I was so outraged because I took it from clips that were on YouTube. This shows you, like, I took it from CNN, BBC, you know, ABC News. I took their clips and basically morphed them in to show, you know, the people like breaking the windows and, you know, the pepper spray and all the stuff that was happening there. And they said that was promoting violence, whatever. And I'm just like, this is so twisted. This is so twisted. You allow other people to show it and monetize and do their thing. And at the time I was fighting for monetization. I wasn't monetized yet. And I was trying to build hours, and I ended up having to take it down because they wouldn't let me get monetized. They rejected my application to be monetized once I met threshold numbers. As long as you had
that video up.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even tell me. They didn't even tell me. I knew I got like a warning about it, but they didn't tell me I had to take it down. But they basically refused to monetize me. And it was Robert Gouveia who inspired me. Back then, he hadn't changed his name to Gouveia. He was known by a different name, but he was at that point he was like at 50,000 subs or something, and he was fighting his own issues. He is an awesome human being in every respect. I have mad respect for Robert Gouveia. And he actually sat me down for an hour, encouraging me to keep going. And he said, "Look, you can either bend the knee, or you can and never be monetized." And, you know, you can either bend the knee and you know, hope to get monetized and don't take down everything else, or you can say, you're going to stay true to your guns and never get monetized. But is that really going to help you, or are you going to just give up? In which case, no one's going to hear from you again.
Yeah, and which one's more important, a constant message from Joe or one video? Because you can still get that Reichstag message out there without having that video. And I think you made the right decision.
I had no choice, and I was very proud of the fact that literally the day of January 6th, I predicted what was going to come out of it, and I think that this could be a similar Reichstag fire moment in the opposite direction, and I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see the left the entire left get punished for this. I certainly want to see this perpetrator get punished, and I do think that there should be measures that are taken politically where we almost make it like some people who promote violence, like Nancy Pelosi's doing in that video, like Maxine Waters is doing, like some of these hosts, that we sort of make that a taboo, that there's something wrong with you. Where it's
We
almost
should-
like we mock these people as
Exactly.
that you're losers, and that you're desperately trying to trigger the algorithm, and that you're basically bad for society, and that anyone who's promoting that type of perspective, or anyone who's reducing themselves to saying racist, fascist, and all that other stuff, and just calling those things out, is basically a loser. And in that sense, in that sense, silence them. Not by punishing them, not criminalizing them, not taking their money, but just ostracize them as far as that you're a loser. Because only a loser who's insecure and doesn't have real arguments has to default to that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. When that's the thing that happens a lot of time, like on Twitter or whatever. If you get into a debate, somebody wants to get personal with you, right? Bring up friends, family, whatever, instead of arguing with actual arguments, with actual facts. And that's what they're doing, right? It's the whole like personal argument towards you, because that's all they have anymore. And if you, I don't want to say bully, but if you shame these people into realizing that they are being dumb, I think it's a good thing. We need to do something, because we've allowed it for too long. We've allowed it, as far as I've noticed, just paying attention since like 2008. We've allowed these people to just beat the conservatives over the head with Nazi, fascist, whatever they wanted to say, and nobody ever goes out and does anything. Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's time for people to, you look at what happened to Charlie today, and as sad as it is, right? Take some time if you need to. Take some time, process it, and get your emotions out of the way, and then start doing what Charlie would do and use the facts and start attacking the problem with those facts. Start attacking the problem with action, not emotion.
But the question is, what type of action? Because we need to be crystal clear on that. So when you say
no, not violence or anything like that. No, definitely not. What we need to do is start personally, like I was saying, like MSNBC, you never see conservatives go out and protest when somebody gets called a fascist for no reason. I would like to see people actually doing that. I would love to see that. Yeah, that's something, man. We don't do anything, right? A lot of people think they can sit at their desk and tweet something out, and they go, "Yeah, I'm winning something for the conservatives."
But when you say protest, I'm going to push you on this a little bit.
Okay.
So when you say protest, so you're saying you want to see people from the right. Let's say Van Jones goes out there and calls Ben Shapiro a fascist. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's assume something like that happens. So what type of protest? Are the protesters who be screaming what? Fire Van Jones because he called Ben?
I would say fire Van Jones, but shame him for not having the facts. Go out there with the facts and hold his feet to the fire about actually reporting facts instead of just giving your own spiel on it. That's the other problem too.
It's very hard to rally the troops for that. You're never gonna successfully rally the troops for that.
I mean, but the problem is the conservatives aren't rallying the troops for much anyway.
Right.
We got to try something.
But I'm saying is I don't think that works. I don't think that would work.
Okay.
I think so. That's why I like thinking outside the box like this.
Of course.
But I think like trying to popularize the derision.
You got it. You nailed it.
I think that trying to popularize the derision of people who default to that sort of thing as being just like you're just a loser. I think that's the same way, the N-word didn't become something that I would refer to as the N-word because of there's a law against it. It just became something that was so taboo and so polarizing that it's just like, yeah, you're not going to say it. So, I've had jokes even with Nate the lawyer, giving me an N-word pass, and I'm just like, yeah, still not doing it.
Yeah,
still not doing it. So.
I think you've got to do something though, man. And I mean, what would you do? Like, what's your when you ask me that question, what pops into your head immediately?
So, I would start a cult. if I was that, I would start a cult which basically, just mocks. It mocks the it mocks the racist fascist criers. It mocks the people who call for violence.
I think I think you're onto something there.
Mockery is far more powerful than getting angry or yelling. Mockery is very, very popular. It's very, very powerful. When if I see people who are genuinely anti-Semitic, okay, like I have, and when I first started streaming, and everyone, I never hid for a moment that I was, an Orthodox Jew, and the way I handled, like, some people will make jokes, and it's not hard to tell when someone is laughing with you versus trying to laugh at you, or trying to punch you in the face versus punch you in the arm.
Exactly.
And it's really not. Sometimes in text it's a little bit tricky. Like, wait, you sort of
you gotta read the context there.
I'm not sure about this guy, right? Yeah. But I tend to err on the side of assuming that they're aiming to punch me in the arm rather than punch me in the face.
Okay.
But when you see someone who's very clearly like lashing at your face, the most powerful way of dealing with that is through humor.
I agree.
Is by basically, like as soon as I see someone just start making some sort of genuinely an attempt to make me feel bad about being Jewish, right? This, as opposed to joking with me about, like, saving money on tips or something like that. But like that's something which a friend would do, right? That's something that a genuine friend would do, as opposed to someone who just, is sitting there screaming like, 6 million wasn't enough. Like that's so that just is something that's easy to mock, where you just sort of like, talking with a heavy German accent and sounding like kind of psychotic to them. And it just it shuts them up, and it's way more powerful than just yelling at them. Oh yeah, screw you back. Like, what are you, like, you're the loser also.
Yeah, once you let another man dictate your emotions, you've lost. So I've got an idea. We blend both of our ideas together, because you're basically wanting to point at them and laugh and call them nerds. We protest by having a set of lockers outside of MSNBC, and when Van Jones comes out, we shove the nerd in a locker and we laugh at him. See? It's the best of both worlds. It works out, right, Joe? But no, you're right. You're extremely right. You have to start calling people nerds, and you have to start shaming them for their stupid ideas and the stupid things that they say, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Just like basically like be like that guy from, just pounding on the roof, screaming, "Nerds!"
That's it. Yeah. No, that's it. That's it. You just start calling these people nerds and start calling them out on their bad behavior and let them know, because most of these people were nerds. I mean, I think most of these people that are in politics now never had any sort of a power or popularity or something, and now they've got it, and they have a bully pulpit, and you need to remind them that you used to get swirlies in high school, and I will gladly give Nancy Pelosi a swirly. Yeah, I just would,
She needs a swirly. That's
watch her wig float right off. It'd be hilarious.
It's like basically, like over here, that guy, swirly.
That's it.
Swirly.
Yeah. That's how we protest. We start carrying lockers around on a set of wheels. We go and we just find all these nerds and shove them in lockers and give them wedgies, and we move on and let them know.
Protest saying that they need to give Van Jones a swirly.
That's it. Yes.
We're going to keep protesting until until we see Van Jones get a swirly.
Exactly. In the offices of MSNBC. That's it. That's exactly what we do. I want to see you. I want to see that on a news program. I want to see that at news at 5. Okay. You giving that man a swirly. That's the way it's got to be.
We are solving the world's problems right here. Swirl.
I mean, it is a joke, but it's also true, because we've allowed these people to go without any sort of checks and balances for a long time. And they need to know that you're a nerd, and what you're saying is real stupid. Quit being stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it. Okay. let me catch up. I lost track here when I just started, and there we got it. There we got to the right. Adrian says, I always say the glass completely full. There's what you see, but the rest is filled with air. Air that we breathe and keeps us alive. Many discount just because you can't see it as they do with God. Nice. Look at you. Deep. So deep, Adrian. Keep your rifle by your side. Like you should, not to go harm people, but like for self-protection, everyone should stay safe at all times.
I've got one right here beside me, but I live in the South though, so like it's my heritage. I have to have one, or they'll kick me out. You know?
Can you believe? I mean, I was talking about this in the beginning of this show. I can't. The audacity of this woman here. Where is this woman here? The audacity of this woman. I referenced this at the very start of this show. You probably weren't watching yet because you're like, oh, Joe doesn't want me for another hour. But listen to this woman.
This is just wrong. And my heart goes out to his family, to his friends. But we just cannot be a country that turns to violence when we disagree.
Okay.
What can Congress do about it, Senator?
Okay.
One thing Congress can do is gun safety. And every time there's a killing,
this
is not the time to talk about gun safety.
The audacity. I mean, just the hubris that you're 20 seconds into this thing talking about Charlie Kirk. Charlie freaking Kirk. Do you know any bigger advocate for Second Amendment freedom than Charlie Kirk?
No,
and using
not many.
using his death as a platform to try and launch your whole anti-Second Amendment.
They do it every time though, right? Like that's their game plan. You know, that's their first play out the gate. And to do it over Charlie Kirk, if he could come back and you ask him that question, you can ask him one question, right? And you ask him that, he would say, no, I don't want to, get rid of guns and change the Second Amendment. What we need to do is start putting crazy people in psych wards again. You know, we don't have those anymore. And I hate to say it, a major conservative figure who everybody loves was the guy that sort of started that, getting rid of all these, loony bins. Was it was Reagan, wasn't it? Started shutting down all the loony bins, and he started in California when he was governor.
I think it actually started when I asked Rock about that. Like, when did they close the asylums? So he said it started in the 60s that they started. He said there was 600,000. What happened? The reason it started going away is because there were all these exposés, and I only know this from hearing from woke Rock
about the way they were treating people, right?
Yeah, there was all these exposés that they were really abusing insane people.
Yeah, but how would he know that they were telling the truth? They were crazy.
Right. Although I think they sort of like, I think it was the inspiration for the whole Arkham in Gotham City type of thing.
Yeah.
Where
for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it probably is true that they were doing all sorts of weird genetic testing and things like that. I wouldn't be surprised if that was happening in the 40s and 50s. And under Kennedy, basically he started this campaign to start closing down the asylums, and they officially closed down in around 2013, 2014.
Yeah. So well, whoever did, I was always under the impression that Reagan was one of the people that pushed for it a lot. And again, I could be wrong. I'm not a super genius. I am a dumb man from the South. So
I bring my audience the best. So I scoured the internet to bring them the best.
Scoured the internet to find this guy.
Yes, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Let me catch up. So let me catch up some more here. Send a link in locals chat and XDM. What am I looking for, Nanner? What did you send me here? Don't see it. This is an inspirational message. Wait, is that from Christine Lee? Is that Christine Lee? You know me now.
Thanks, Sweet Tooth. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He says I might be. He said you might be medium IQ cynic. Give yourself
Yes.
some credit.
Give
Thank
yourself.
you. Always under promise and over deliver is what I try to do.
There you go. Grimm's Bar. This guy is member for 40 freaking months.
Jesus, that's awesome.
Yes, yeah. The Grimm's Bar basically, yeah, he remembers when I was running around in short pants. It is regrettable that we are gathered under such tremendous circumstances. Stay strong and love your neighbors. Keep safe. Salute. Yes. I used to jokingly refer to him. I remember before he was Grimm's Bar. He actually had a different name. Yeah. And and he changed his name for the purposes of retaining his identity, and he would get so mad at me that I would use his first name like every time. But I stopped doing that around 2 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he would get so angry. He's like, I'd forget because I always just, when you meet someone as Brian, you're not going to forget Brian, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, you're exactly right. Yeah.
So sorry. Joe, I fully disagree. You need to understand when you're in a war, they killed our civil means of changing minds. F them. They need to learn we bite back. Okay. Look, I understand what you're saying. And what I'm saying to you is, how would that translate? Your favorite podcaster out there, let's say some other message bearer, and I appreciate you coming forward and sharing this with me, Matt, because it gives me an opportunity to sort of look at the other side of it. Okay, so fine. Let's say I was on that side. What does that literally mean? Does that mean that I should be encouraging my audience to go out there and start beating up,
start taking to the streets and doing physical stuff?
Is that something that would is that going to make this country better? Is that something that if we could resurrect Charlie Kirk and ask him, is that what you want us to do because of what happened to you? Does anyone think for a moment that he would say, oh yeah, avenge me? Or that he would be much happier if his legacy was that he became an inspiration to actually make the world a place where dialogue is something that, that we're healthy dialogue as opposed to racist, fascist, and all that other crap. So which one do you think he would prefer? I'll ask you that, Matt. But if I rejected whatever Charlie's perspective is on this matter, I'd say, well, you know what, he was wrong on this, and really we should be doing something much more proactive. And we have a call. This is a call to arms now, and they're basically telling us that if we don't fight back, they're going to kill us. Let's say I took that position, which I don't think is true. But let's say I didn't. Let's say I did embrace that. So what would be the appropriate thing? Should I tell people get your gun and get out in the street and find your local Democrat politician and remind them why it is that we believe in the Second Amendment, or some sort of lunatic type of I don't understand what position. I don't understand how that's anyone would treat that as something that's,
I don't know how you would do it.
Yeah.
I really don't know how you would do it, because I immediately when this happened today, before me and you talked, I was in a group chat, and one of my friends, a very conservative guy, and there's lefties in there, and there's, because I talk to all walks of life. We have two raging liberals on my show, and one of the guys posted the news story, and the right wing guy said this means civil war, and the first thing I said to him was shut up. That was my response to him, was shut up. And I thought about it, I was like, what does that mean to you? Are you, and I know this guy pretty well personally, and I was like, what, you're not going to take to the streets,
right?
You're calling for something that you're not going to take action in. It would be men like me, men like Joe, men like, actual active men that would go out and do this. And what does that look like for the country? And like you said, would Charlie want that?
There's no way. There's no way.
I don't think he would. That, because
it's the exact
otherwise,
opposite of everything he stood for.
Yes, but how would you even go about doing that? But then I see on the other side, Joe, and I wanted to ask you this question while you were reading that chat, was, do you think, honestly, at this point, we can vote our way out of these situations now?
No. This requires a cultural change.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what's needed. We need to change the entire culture. And that's not nearly as hard as people think it is. People think that's impossible, and
It does feel like a very daunting task.
It feels like a daunting task. And yeah, am I individually in a position to change the culture of America? No, perhaps not. Although I probably have more influence than I recognize. Meaning, and that's not because I'm good logic, all powerful at all. What I'm saying is, in theory, if I was a little bit more creative or hone my creative juices, perhaps I could become more influential in a way that helps and that I can help spread a message of a healthier culture to a broader audience. And what I'm saying is that changing the culture is really, I know that there's a lot of money that comes in that's trying to promote this woke narrative, but I think people displayed in November that they're tired of the woke narrative. I agree. That's what they displayed. This is such a ripe opportunity to basically really start changing the culture into genuinely making America great again, genuinely making it healthy, promoting the idea of good family values, promoting the idea of cherishing the value of fathers who are committed towards taking care of their wives and daughters.
Sure. Yeah.
And the nobility of being someone who is reliable, someone who is God-fearing, someone who is a pillar of his community.
Yes.
And promoting the value of being masculine if you're a boy. And feminine doesn't necessarily mean looking like some model on a cover of a magazine, but feminine means being genuinely self-assured. Being feminine means believing in yourself. A lot of people think that masculine and feminine are opposites, which is stupid. It's not. They're just different manifestations of similar mindsets. So one with a female angle to it, and the other with a male angle to it. But promoting family values, promoting accountability, responsibility, and actually and humor and everything that made America a healthy culture. Promoting a thick skin.
That one I do agree with. You don't have that anymore. Too many people are coddled and told they're special, and I hate to sound like my dad on that with saying that, but it's very true. Nobody has a thick skin anymore. You don't have locker room talk anymore because you're afraid that you're going to hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah, and promoting having the value of having a thick skin and enough self-confidence that if someone doesn't like you or doesn't respect you, that it doesn't impact you, that it doesn't make you question yourself.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that, and I feel like I keep coming back to this trans thing all the time. One of the things that I'm continually saying is the fact that you need me to validate you shows that you don't really, you recognize it's not true. I don't need anyone. Yeah. I don't need anyone to validate me that I'm a good person to feel like I'm a good person. I don't need anyone to validate that they believe I'm a man for me to be a man. I don't need anyone to validate me, and even in my own inner circle in those regards, much less some stranger on the internet. And these people need validation from the entire world. Otherwise, everything about their lives crumble because they themselves don't believe it, because they don't have security. And part of being a strong man or a strong woman is having self-confidence.
Yes.
And this is something that we don't teach in schools, and it's something that it can be taught, it can be promoted as something that is an asset to be treasured and to be developed, because you're not born no one's born self-confident. That's something you develop. And it can be developed. Any person can develop self-confidence. These are things that are healthy attitudes, which if we promoted, and the ability to laugh at yourself without feeling threatened, all of these things are things that I think help create an atmosphere where it's much easier to laugh at someone who screams racist. Like you don't even have to make a joke out of them. Like everyone would just start snickering at them already without us having to try. You know.
It's a that whole situation. I mean, how having self-confidence is a huge thing. I just don't know where we lost it. Like, I look at it, and I'm blessed with a family that parents are still together, grandparents are still together, and I had very, strong, father figures in my life, start to finish. So I've been blessed. I just don't know where you start really teaching that. You know what I mean? Other than reaching out to people and inspiring, right? Like,
Right.
I don't know how you get started with that, but I know my dad criticizes me more than anybody ever does when I talk to him, and that's just how my dad tells me he loves me. It's the weirdest thing ever, but
I love you too, Cynic. Okay, I believe in I believe in you.
Appreciate it, Joe.
You don't. I hear what people say about you.
Yeah.
Don't let it get to you. Don't make them. Don't think like, oh my gosh, everyone's noticing that I took the stupidest looking avatar in the world and threw it up there as my face.
Hey, I worked hard on this today. Okay. ChatGPT. It took it took like 2 minutes to get this thing to process. Calm down, okay?
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, but I'm telling you, don't let it get to you. Wellesley says, go after the money advertisers. Do not use mass media as a source. Use more local sources of news, local news stations. No,
you can't do that anymore, though. There's no newspapers anymore
because they get bought out by there's apparently there's like 8 companies that own the entire world.
It's crazy, man. Yeah.
Support your local podcaster. That's basically what Wesley's saying. The Milli Vanilli of news. I think he might have stolen that from me because I recently labeled the Hodge twins as the Milli Vanilli of politics.
No, you didn't. They are, though. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Those guys went from eating Popeye's chicken in a car to all of a sudden being political geniuses after they met Steven Crowder. So
I guess I don't know what. They
do a lot of parroting, I've noticed. So
yes, and depending on where you're watching them, saying completely opposite things.
Exactly.
Joe, to your credit, you leaned into the Jew thing, which disembowels the haters' rhetoric. Then, of course, there are space lasers and New York tunnels. This is true.
It's not true.
I did lean in on the Jew thing.
Yeah. Well, why did you block me the other day for making a Jew joke in DMs? What'd you do that for?
You hit the right spot. And
okay. I punched you in the mouth instead of the arm.
Exactly. I'm like, well, you're the nuts. So, So I actually was telling. I remember there was an incident behind the scenes in the LawTube/LawTube adjacent sphere where I actually called someone. I'm not going to identify this person at all, but the person was very, very, and you could probably narrow it down to one of like 10 people if you've been following me for a long time.
Yeah,
and it's going to be one of those 10. And I basically told this individual, I said, if you look at Nick, this is before Nick was hitting, this is before Nick came into his own problem. I said, Nick, before May of 2024, when his whole life spiraled out of control, I said, if you look at Nick, his success comes because he leans in on his nose, and I lean in on the Jew thing. And if this thing that people view as your shortcoming, you learn this in the pilot episode of Game of Thrones, where Peter Dinklage, the little loser, says to Jon Snow, and when he's calling him a bastard, he's like, "You are a bastard. Wear it like armor, and then no one can touch you."
Yes.
And I said that's what Nick does with his nose. That's what I do with the Jew thing, and it's true.
Yeah, I do it with being retarded. So
yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
No, the whole short bus thing angle works for you perfectly.
It's the nail on the head. So it's fine. My chat, whenever I do my streams, call me dumb all the time. So just lean into it, boys. Expect nothing.
Nick. I'm speaking your language now.
Ben says, I can't believe Cynic forced me to watch him on this fine show and his audacity to ignore my comments. Look at you. Welcome to Good Lawgic, Vabent. Welcome
I'm
aboard.
big timing you, Vabent. Don't worry about it, man.
There you go. Oh, he streams with you, like on your thing?
He does a anime show that I do on the weekends. So yeah, he's one of the guys.
What is anime? Is
anime
that,
is just Japanese cartoons.
That's cartoons for
From Japan.
Tots? That's cartoons for Tots? Or
for tards? Is that what you're trying to say? Guys who wear helmets?
I thought I was just asking. No, I once heard someone refer to it as tunes for Tots. So that's why I wanted to know.
No, it's just Japanese cartoons. That's all it is. But it's definitely tunes for tards. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm embarrassed by the community. So you know.
All right. I appreciate you stopping in here, Benton. I hope you can take my analysis with the same good spirit as your friend here. But Lauren Boberg called for prayer for CK Dem's response. For CK? Do you know what CK is? Oh,
Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Yeah.
Dem's response. Oh yeah. I did want to show this. That I'm glad I actually had this clip here. I know what she's referencing now, where they basically, you know, this is not helpful. This is not helpful. Look at this. It's aggravating. It's going to be a long haul.
The call for prayer thing.
This is going to be a long haul. Many of you may not have seen this. Nana knows was calling attention to this. I had this queued up already. This is what she's referencing.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise?
Imagine having to shush adults.
Let's wait a minute. The house will be in order. The house will be in order. The house will be in order. The house will be in order.
You know he wants to scream.
Yeah, you can't really. I'm going to try and play like a little louder because she's talking in the early part there.
That's so disrespectful. First of all, when you're in Congress, to be screaming the fucking right in the middle of that, and it's disrespectful.
I didn't hear that. Let me play it a little louder.
Oh, yeah.
No, let me replay it with my volume sort of pumped up.
We will join prayer right after this. Okay. What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise? Let's.
So she's calling for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not. Look, I thought the booing would be worse. I hadn't seen it. I saw a clip. I saw this referenced as Democrats in the House shout no for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk. I don't really hear. You hear like one or two people saying that. It's not like I thought it was like, you know, a more formal type of thing. So it's not as bad a reflection of the Democrats.
I don't know. It feels very disrespectful to me. I don't know, something about it. Yeah. But I do, let me play devil's advocate here. I do sort of understand if maybe they weren't, you know, screaming and hemming and hawing about it. I do understand why they wouldn't want to do a call for prayer or whatever in the middle of Congress, because Charlie Kirk is just a commentator. He's not a politician. He's not, you know what I mean, in the government or anything like that. I see both sides of it, but the way the Democrats acted, it makes me go, man, y'all are a bunch of children. Y'all need to grow up.
So, I mean, you can look at it this way.
Okay.
Imagine if you want to really play devil's advocate.
Yes.
Imagine instead of it being Charlie Kirk who was assassinated today, it was Cenk Uygur.
Oh, they would have been falling all over themselves.
And then there was a call, that in the House there should be a moment of silence for Cenk Uygur.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you be like sitting there saying like, oh yeah, that's something they should be doing, or would you be basically like?
I'm indifferent to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's where I would fall on it
Yeah.
also.
I'm very indifferent to it. If they did, hey, good on you. But them not doing it, also, it doesn't like really ruffle my feathers. It's just the way they went about it with the.
Yeah, and the
Sounded
truth is
like a bunch of kids.
they would never call for prayer. That's why I
Yeah.
said moment of silence. If they call for prayer, then would you be like, no, no?
Oh man, I'm really torn on it, man. Like I really am torn on it. But moment of silence. I've always been taught the separation of church and state, right? Not to like delve into this real deeply, is more that there's not going to be an established religion in America by the government. Not that the government shouldn't be religious or do things that are religious, right? Like if somebody wants to pray in Congress and they're Christian, then okay, or Jewish or whatever, okay.
Or Muslim or whatever. Or
whatever,
they are,
right?
Buddhist,
You
right.
can call, you can call for prayer. But I've always been taught, and I could be wrong. Again, very dumb man here, right? Most guys on the internet are very dumb men. But I've always been taught that there's just not going to be any established government religion. So
That's pretty much the way the Supreme Court was looking at it all the way through my law school appearances. I think the name of the case is there's the Lemon Test and there's Katzenberg. So these are two famous Supreme Court decisions, which basically says that establishment of church and state means you cannot promote a particular religion, but if you're just promoting religion in general, that's completely fine.
Yes.
And that's why, I'll frequently see if you live on the East Coast, which part of the world do you live in?
Southeast.
Southeast. Okay. So in the Northeast here, probably less so in the Southeast. In the Northeast here, you go into any city or whatever, in December, you will see it looks as if they spent like $4 million on Christmas decorations and like $50 on Hanukkah decoration. They'll throw in the corner.
Well, that makes sense though, because of
hold on a second. because they're trying to like basically comport with the law. Says we're not establishing an individualism, and then there'll be one Kwanzaa thing, which is even not a real thing at all. That's the stupidest thing in the world.
Oh yeah, that thing. I'd love to go into a deep dive on that one day.
We will, but not tonight. But my position on that is I don't want the menorah. Like I'm like, just leave the menorah out. Yeah, I understand. It's a Christian it's a Christian country. My perspective about Christianity in this country and separation of church and state is not that like don't give me the menorah. I don't need that. I don't need to be placated. I understand
that's what they're doing.
That the vast majority of people in this country are Christian, and and this country has been more amazing to non-Christian cultures than any country in world history. So if they want to celebrate their faith and do it on a grand scale, which is going to incorporate the state investing money in it, I say huzzah, do it. It's it's like, what is wrong with you? So it's like I don't need to have in the parade. I don't need to have a parade for Hanukkah. No, go out there, have your Christmas parade and enjoy it. And I want you all to genuinely have a great time, because the same way I want to be able to enjoy my religion, I want you guys to enjoy it without feeling like guilt, like, oh, we have to give something to the Jews. No, you don't have to give anything to us. Just go out there. The Supreme Court's wrong on this.
Let's be honest about it too, though, Joe. It would be more respectful to the Jews because they'd be saving money on decorations.
Yes, exactly. That's how you honor the Jews. We save money on the menorah. That's how you do it. That would be perfect. They would be like,
they would love it.
That's what I would love. That's what I would love. There's like a little sign. This is where
have a little receipt of how much money was saved.
Yeah. And give 30 cents to each Jew. And be like, this is the menorah we didn't buy for you.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
See, we're solving all the world's problems today, man. Well, at least America's. Okay.
That would be perfect. That'd be so perfect. I think you guys are failing to realize this is the Civil War. It's already started, guys. Love you, Joe. Today sucks. Today does suck. It does.
Yes.
It does. One of the reasons that I agreed to bring Cynic in here is because I was like, I can spend an hour, or I can spend my entire show like raging and being somber and stuff like that. I said, but if I bring you in there, it's probably going to have a little bit more levity. And I think that I was like, I want to spend an hour like really taking this seriously. And that's why part of the reason I asked him to join late. Also because I promised him yesterday he'd be able to come on. And when I tried basically subtly suggesting tonight's not a good night, he made me feel all guilty. So
that's it. I shamed him. Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
No, Joe, you don't have to just because you gave me your word and I scheduled everything around this. It's not. I was like, so I was like, maybe we'll find some way to make it work. But then I also realized that hey, it's probably best if there is like some levity in a respectful kind of way.
Man. You got to remember to laugh in these situations because if you don't, you're going to wallow in that anger, and I think people are going to make missteps.
Yeah. So I trust that everyone understands that, we're trying to help the mood a little bit, while still at the same time, obviously honoring and respecting his memory.
Of course.
Philip Collins says people think the next CW Civil War will be like Gettysburg or a Ken Burns documentary. When it'll be more like The Troubles. I don't know what The Troubles.
Yeah, neither do I. I'm supposed to be the pop culture guy on here.
Yeah.
My nerd card's going to get pulled. I'm going to be in so much trouble in the group chats later.
Yeah, I must be like, how'd you not know he was talking about this show? And
yeah,
yeah, but everyone thinks it's going to be clean and whatever. No. If there was war,
ethno-nationalist conflict in Ireland, that's not a movie or anything. That's like just an actual thing that happened.
Oh,
yeah, it's just like wars in the street, guerrilla warfare type stuff.
Yeah, it's not cool. I got a couple of rants I need to get to. Barrett Boy says, recommended all of us view Charlie's campus videos as a masterclass on how to engage the opposition and then practice. Said, I totally agree with this. And I will tell you that if you're trying to learn to hone your skills in debate, one of the key elements is to develop the ability to hear what the other person is saying and dissect what they're really saying. And the better you can do that, the more effectively you can do that, the more you're understanding their own arguments better than they are. And it's a very difficult thing to master. It takes, but even intelligent people struggle with it, and we get so wrapped up in what we want to say and are waiting for the right moment to say that we'll tune out what we're hearing. And so much is exposed as to like how to attack them in just the very arguments that they're using. And that's one of the things that I feel like Charlie Kirk was a master at. That he would.
I go with the no you usually. What
does that mean?
You just go whatever they say. You go no you, and you just keep sticking with that over and over again. You don't have to be a good debater.
Right. Well, that's another way to go.
Yeah.
So Uzelian says, I lost it for a second there. Joe, I'm going to leave the message in locals so I can make it longer. What he wrote in locals is, I agree with what you said, and we need to keep the idea of debating ideas, but at what point do we say enough is enough with political leaders? 95% of the left, if not more, calling for violence in ways, saying things like go punch a Nancy, go get in their faces, don't let them be around. When they keep attacking, killing, and shooting at the other side and only saying, well, we don't support this after what they called for happened. Yeah. And what he's saying is it feels very empty when they're like, we don't support this. Well, you were basically screaming to go do it. So now you're telling us you don't support it. That's supposed to make us feel better now that now that they're digging his grave. So now it's like, well, at least they say they don't support it. They're doing it in response to what you've said.
Exactly. You told him to do this. You said get armed, take to the streets, go fight these people, go punch them in the face.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, who said that civil disobedience has to be peaceful? Like these
exactly
are things,
right.
I mean, what did you mean if not this?
Well, I didn't mean actually that. What I meant was you should take to the streets on Twitter or something. Get out of here. No, you're lying. This is what you wanted because now you can wag your finger from your bully pulpit. The problem is you always expected conservatives and normal white dudes to do it. Not the leftists. That's what they assumed would happen. That it would rile us up into going out to the streets and sticking up for ourselves.
Right. Well, we were just tuning you out.
Yeah.
And
I don't pay attention to him.
The reason Ruby King says, "Don't give Cynic any love. He beats me and wants to put me in a slave shack."
That's my co-host.
Nice.
Yeah, he's Thanks, Ruby. I appreciate you. That's an awesome super chat. You wait until I get off this show. We'll be out in the shack.
Hollis MJP says, "Did you see the TMZ footage? GNU, it is bad. Also, employees in the background cheered when it was announced he passed." I actually did see that. I'm glad you called this to my attention. You guys who are bringing up these different things, I'm actually. It gives me an opportunity to sort of pull them up. I have it here. Where was it? I did see it's like a 3-minute video. I don't know that I'm going to find it so fast because I have so many of these different. Let me just try to find. Let's see. I'll probably just find it faster.
There was a guy I did see in the crowd after Charlie had been shot, and he was cheering in front of a camera, and I was like, dude, that is sick. The lack of respect for anybody is so disgusting to me. I would never do it. I would never cheer on my political enemies, demise like that. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me.
This is the video that they're talking about here.
Maybe he's still on the loose because they want to find him. So I would think that that's one of the main reasons they're holding this news conference.
That guy looks rough now.
So my guess is we're going to see an image of this guy possibly in the next 20 minutes. The news conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
You hear that in the background?
5 o'clock Eastern. Janet.
That's what people are talking about, I think. I haven't watched this clip yet. I saw the reference to this, but I haven't heard it yet. I assume if you listen closely in the background, you hear people cheering, and then you're going to hear, and then in 30 seconds, you're going to hear them announce it.
For 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah, you hear them.
5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go.
Fucking losers. Absolute losers.
Have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
Wow.
And you just heard them too. Now you're sitting here going, "Oh, now we have messed up."
What did Trump say? Yeah, Trump just said he's dead. Yeah, he just said it. Okay.
These people are sick.
That's the problem, though. These guys nowadays aren't journalists. They're all opinion piece people, right? They don't report the news. They just give you their opinion on stuff. And where they're sitting there talking about the guy being shot, and you clearly hear them go, "Woo!" in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Come on. Like, have some form of decorum. Have some. I don't know what to say about it. I'm honestly speechless. Maybe me being Southern, I'm out of the loop with what other people do, because my family would shame me to death for getting caught doing something like that.
Yeah. That's because you've been bred. That's why. That's part of the difference between being raised by family or raised by like your social network.
Agreed. Yeah.
Hollis, that was Hollis before. So, separation of church and state, you say? Then why does Congress have a chaplain who opens Congress daily with a Christian Protestant prayer? Oh, I have no problem with that either.
Yeah,
like I said,
it doesn't bother me. No.
This is a Christian nation, and I have no problem with that at all. I wouldn't care if they were doing it in public schools. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but
we used to, and that went out when I was in school. We used to do I forget what it was called, but we met every Wednesday with a preacher. And we had like little worship services for 30 minutes. And then they made us go outside, because of legal reasons. They made us go outside and we could stand by the flagpole and have our little meeting. And then it turned to, you can't even have that meeting, but you could go out there and pray on Wednesday mornings. And then they took it completely off campus. Completely. 100%.
Wow. Cynic, Jeremy, Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, Mauler, what's your thought?
Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is from my original hometown. I think he's a grifter. I think he's riding the Trump train because he gets the super chats. Mahler, I think he does great work with his nerd documentaries. They're amazing. And the rest of the guys I just don't like. I don't find they do a lot for
so
the nerd
Jeremy.
community.
So Jeremy, that's Hamlin. That's quartering.
No. Jeremy, I forget his last name.
But he is Geeks
Jeremy
and
Griggs.
Gamers.
Yes,
Jeremy
he's the guy who
Griggs.
owns. Yeah, he owns Geeks and Gamers. Yep.
So okay. So now you're breaking down. So Geeks and Gamers, you think is a grifter?
I think Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers is a grifter. He does nerd stuff until the political stuff picked up, and he started making the #1 super chats in the country, and then sometimes in the world from talking Trump.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So
and Nerdrotic.
I like Nerdrotic stuff. Like his videos and stuff. I just think he's found a shtick and he's gonna stick with it and he's never gonna move off of it. But I do like his
What's his shtick?
videos.
What's his shtick?
It's just the culture war. You know what I mean? It's completely culture war. No matter what Hollywood puts out, he'll never admit that it's good. It's just nothing's ever good. So, and then the other thing is, pay him super chats. So he'll go watch the movie for you and tell you if it's good or not. For some reason, they're never good. So it's the craziest thing, right?
And who's Mahler?
Mahler does like long form dissertations on like all of these movies. He breaks them down frame by frame, and he runs a podcast called EFAP, Every Frame a Pause, where they do it live, and he does actually pretty good work. He's very entertaining. So,
all right,
there we go.
And Cynic, I don't want you to worry anymore while you're busy being famous. Us plebes will carry on your show.
Thank you. I appreciate it, but I am the host, so and it is on my channel. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Are you restreaming us right now?
No. I didn't. I forgot to ask you permission. Yeah.
You could if you wanted. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care if you think. My general principle is if anyone can make money off of using my stuff, go ahead.
Well, I'll remember that for next time. I appreciate it.
Go ahead. If you can make money off of it, especially if you're look, even if people were doing that without me getting any benefit from it whatsoever, but if you're actually contributing for the show by being the glaring punching bag of the show, then all the more so. All the more so. Yeah, just all the more so for that.
We'll do that next
serve
time,
in that role. Yeah. So, I had a whole bunch of other clips that I wanted to go through. I'll show you what my tab situation looks like.
Let's see that.
All right, this is my tab situation.
Oh, good night, Joe.
I'm up to here. Working my way across.
What are you doing?
I don't know how that happens.
Your poor computer is just dying right now.
I'm up to here. Yeah, I'm working my way through. So yeah, normally I put this in some sort of real order, but I did the show an hour early because I wanted because I knew I was going to have a long show tonight. Yeah, and I figured people would want to hear. People were sort of itching to talk Charlie Kirk, so I was like, let me start talk tonight. But that means that these are not really in any kind of order. Like some of them are, let's say, Don Lemon acting like an idiot. Others are like, Cenk Uygur saying good things. And then there's stuff like this woman here. Most of this I didn't actually even have a chance to filter. It just looked interesting to me.
Oh, God, we're going to run into some problems there then.
I doubt it. I'm hoping not. I'll be very really hoping.
I'll do my best for you.
Normally I try to vet this stuff, but I had to fight a parking ticket and I was in court late this afternoon, early this evening when I was like trying to when I decided I found out on my way to court and I was sitting in court. I was like, let me try to start saving some links. And I just started saving links. And yeah, so this is what we got.
How much was the parking ticket, Joe, if you don't mind me asking?
$300.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get out of that city. Oh, man. I got a ticket a few weeks ago. It was $50.
No.
Yeah, mine was $50. I just paid it.
It was not just $300. I was very upset because I parked. This happened when I was covering the Diddy trial. So I took my car to the train and I found a parking spot. And they claimed it was handicapped. And I was like, this doesn't look like this. It looks like handicap is in front of me, not where I'm at. They're like, the judge is like, you're literally smack. You could not be more in the handicap spot. I was like, all right. I was like, but they gave me 2 tickets for it. She's like, all right, I'll take off one of them.
So what they give you 2 tickets for though?
Because one was done by the transit police, and the other was done by
the
normal
you got popped
meter
twice.
people. Yeah. So
okay.
I got popped twice. So they took off one of them, and so I saved myself $300 by going down.
What you should have done, Joe, was go in there with a cane just in case you were wrong.
That's
not,
or
a crutch.
I don't play like that. I don't play like that. I respect the game, but that's not my game. Katie Did's channel, Hail Joel and Cynic Hail's Comicsgate, R.I.P. Kirk. Thank you so much, Katie Did.
Thank you, Katie Did.
Is this one of yours also? I don't recognize.
She's one of the friends of the show. Yeah,
Look at you. Look at you, Cynic, bringing in the audience.
Trying to, man. I'm doing my best.
Well done indeed. J.H. Flawlek says, Geese and Gamers Jeremy is a grifter. He admits it. He's been on Valiant Renegade with Good Lawgic. He has been. Critical Drinker. Oh. Okay. Thoughts?
I don't have a lot to say about Critical Drinker other than the movie that he promised to put out is absolutely terrible. It is horrible. He's supposed to be this great writer and all this stuff, and he was like, I'm going to make this movie and it's going to be way better than Hollywood, and it is so bad. If you want to go
British guy? Is that the British guy?
I think he's Scottish, yeah.
Yeah. He
Same
sits there.
thing.
He sits there with like he also doesn't show his face, right? He's got like a picture of a guy smoking.
No. Critical Drinker is a guy. He's a tall Scottish guy. He wears aviators. He's always like literally drinking. I think he does a show called Open Bar, I believe, if I remember. It's been a while since I watched him. But if you want a good laugh, go watch his movie. It is so bad. It's hilarious.
All right, now you have me curious. I'm gonna go. If I see, I've been on Valiant
Down
Renegade
the rabbit hole.
Now I want to find Critical Drinker. Let's see.
I'm sure you've seen him before. You've been around. Ricada and all those guys are sort of.
He's got 2.3 million subs. This guy.
He's huge. Yeah. He's huge.
Wow.
He's got a big channel
these days about movies.
Wow.
I'm gonna talk about bad movies all today. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
He's got a huge channel. It's funny because he talks a lot about like girl bosses in movies. And then in his movie, he had a girl boss, and it blew my mind. I was like, what are you doing, man? You can't do that. You think that's hypocritical. What are you doing? So it's great. I recommend go watching his movie. It's fantastic.
What's his movie?
I forget the name of it. Me and Jim Satala, him, and Dave from BTM Reviews watched it. Like 8-9 months ago, and I just died laughing. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
But it wasn't intentional comedy. That's your point.
No, not at all. It was supposed to be serious. It was supposed to be a good movie. He crowdfunded it, and he was like, "Yeah, we're going to take over Hollywood." And, well, I don't think so, buddy. Try it again.
Wow. All right, let's check out this video that I had up here for a while. Otherwise, I'll never work my way through.
All right.
Mother fucking animals! You liberal, progressive, deranged fucking animals. You are so hateful in your hearts to go out and shoot a young man who's never hurted anyone with Christian values, a young, beautiful family, a father, a husband, a friend, a son. You shot him. Why? Because you didn't agree with his politics? Because you didn't agree with his ideology? That's the reason why he deserves to die? You fucking animals!
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, Joe. It feels, honest opinion, it felt performative.
Yeah.
I think she's saying the right things.
Right.
But, It felt, I don't know.
Okay, now that's a good poll.
Yeah,
that's a good.
But
poll. We're gonna put that poll up. I'm gonna put that poll up now. Was that start a poll? We'll call what's her name? I don't know what her name is.
I don't know what her name is. I've seen her before, but I don't know her name. I'm terrible with names anyway. So
that outrage genuine or performative?
Yeah, it felt performative. And the other thing too, he didn't get killed for his politics. He got killed because he was making a difference. It's not just his politics. It was the wrong thing, and he was actually making a difference
Because he was
young men.
It's because he was better at it than you or me.
Oh yeah, any day of the week.
Yeah, well, that's why. I have no idea where this poll is going to come in. I'm very curious though. I'm going to check Rumble because I can't put a poll up there. What do you guys think? Genuine or performative? Tell me, Ghetto. What are your thoughts? What are your?
That's what somebody was talking about earlier. I would do fine in the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
What are you talking? So you're calling Rumble the ghetto?
I call Rumble the ghetto. Yeah.
Oh, Joe. I'd fit right in the ghetto, guys. Y'all get my life story one day, hopefully.
Is that wrong? I called.
No, it's not wrong at all. It's hilarious.
I call them diggers in the locals chat. So
come on, man.
I do. I call them the diggers, but they earn that. They are diggers. So they really earn that. They're awesome. Audra says, did anyone else see Charlie when South Park's Cartman did a parody of him on a show a month or so ago? Charlie was thrilled. It was great. Yeah, I think he changed his logo to the Charlie Kirk South Park character for a while, like for a couple of days. Like they thought they were lampooning him and embarrassing him, but he wore it like armor. So I didn't see that episode, but
that's the best thing to do if you're going to get lampooned by South Park. Lean into it. It's an honor if you ask me.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna run through some of these tabs so we can get out of here eventually, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know why I had this here. Diligent was claiming that the video looked like it was AI.
Oh, there's no way. That video was way too brutal, way too.
The basis of the claim was that his ring supposedly changes fingers. I'm like, why would anyone? I'm like,
didn't we go through this in the Rittenhouse trial? Like with interpolation of cameras.
Yeah,
especially
I was
with
just
digital cameras nowadays.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's to me. For all I know, it's just a reflection from like some other thing with the sun and the glint. And
yeah, you're overanalyzing it at this point, man. If you're looking
like,
for stuff like that,
I agree. I was looking for. He also put this out. FBI just asked if foreign intelligence was involved with Charlie Kirk's assassination, and they said I can't comment on that.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. Just in case, like you want to cast a broad net,
yeah,
and try to figure out where everything.
I would think it's way too early to know anything. They don't even know who the shooter is.
I thought they got him finally.
So that's the thing, and maybe my audience can help clarify this point. I know they arrested someone, but then
they arrested an old guy who that he was a Mormon because he had the magical underwear on. They were dragging him out. His pants fell off, and supposedly he wasn't the actual shooter. And then videos started coming out, and I was watching them right before I came on, of where there was a guy running across the roof. And from what I had seen, they had arrested that guy. I think the head of the FBI said that they had him in custody, but they hadn't released anything on him yet, which is pretty typical for some reason. So
yeah, but then I heard that they figured out it was the wrong guy that they had arrested.
I think there's been 2 arrests. I think the first guy, the Mormon guy, was the wrong guy. The old guy that you saw him dragging off like he was some crazy person. So
no suspects in custody. It was the second guy they interrogated, but they released him.
Okay. All right.
Still
so
on
they've
the
arrested
loose.
2 people. They still don't have the actual shooter yet.
Yeah,
Let's get on it, FBI.
That means they don't have the shooter.
Yeah. Way to go, guys.
They're both released. Wow. That's horrifying to think that they might not find his killer. That's really scary.
Man, I just keep going back to the video, the actual full scene video that was posted on Twitter. They've got to find the guy because that video is horrible to watch. I don't recommend watching it unless you really want to get angry.
Yeah.
Man.
Here's a guy who I like and respect, and that's Konstantin Kisin, who weighed in with, I hope I'm wrong, but tonight feels like some sort of invisible line has been crossed that we didn't even know was there. The last time I felt like this was 9/11, when it was clear without knowing the how and the what that the world was about to change forever. Like the rules of the game had been permanently altered, and there was simply no going back to the innocent, peaceful past. I didn't feel like this when an attempt was made on President Trump's life. If I had to rationalize why I didn't, I guess it's because several U.S. presidents have been shot at and even assassinated. Somehow it was within the realms of possible, no matter how awful. But to murder a young father simply for doing debates and mobilizing young people to vote for a party that represents half of America, this is something else. Charlie's death is a tragedy for his wife, his children, his family. I don't pray often. I'm praying for them tonight. But I fear his murder will be a tragedy for all of us in ways we will only understand as time unfolds. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. Do you think? So that's my next question for you. Do you think that this is a genuine turning point?
I said it when I first came in, right? Because I was. It felt surreal all day. Thinking about it and talking with friends. I was talking to some friends in Discord that are over in Wales about it, and they were seriously astonished and shocked, but they didn't have the same feeling as me and my friends in America about it, because they didn't really know Charlie Kirk. And I told them I think it's a watershed moment. I really do. I think it's a turning point, but I'm afraid that if people don't stick to it, it will be a flash in the pan. And a lot of work that Charlie had done would go down the drain. We have to do it, right? We have to keep it in the zeitgeist. We can't just let it go away in the news cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying you think it could be, but you're not sure it will be. You're hoping
exactly. Yeah, I'm afraid that we're not going to have enough people going in the same direction with it, right? I will say, and I am happy to see this. I've seen a lot of political commentators of old, like Milo Yiannopoulos, for example, like him, love him, however you feel, but he did the same thing that Charlie Kirk did, just way more flashy and way more volatile, I guess you would say, hyperbolic. And he said he will now get back to going to these college campuses after this happened. He said, I'm coming out of retirement as of today. And he's been dragging Harry Sisson through Twitter by by the hair of his head. He's been going after everybody that are making very crass and crude comments about Charlie. So we'll see. I hope some of these old guys that actually helped meme Donald Trump into office in 2016 do come back and start standing up for what they believed in because of this. So,
yeah, I've thought about doing something like that also.
I think you'd be great at it, Joe. You'd have to.
I just feel like if they'll see the gray beard and I'll be talking to 4 people.
Well, I mean, yeah,
if I'm lucky.
I don't know, man. If you put a little levity in it, do a little joking, don't go on so high of a soapbox the whole time. I really think you'd be good at it. I would do it, but I'm too handsome, and people just way too many people.
Yeah, all the handsome people always hide their faces. That's just like that's like what they do. That's what they do. Everyone knows that.
That's why I do it.
The social media is just it's the world of uggos, and then
it's a curse, man.
And the hiding handsome folk. The uggos and the hiding handsome folk. Everyone
That's it.
That. Yeah. All right, so should I have another? We're talking about change. Let's stay on topic with that. This is Matt Walsh, who was retweeted. This video was retweeted by Elon Musk. I have not watched this yet.
All right, let's do it.
It's called Time for a Massive Change.
So the narrative we hear from the media is exactly what you would expect. They are infinitely more outraged at the alleged racially charged language of conservative pundits than they are at the actual butchery of an innocent woman by a 14-time career felon on public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
They are not angry that this woman was killed. I mean, they couldn't care less.
But this is about Charlie Kirk? This is about Irina Zarutska.
If they had their way. Instead, they're outraged by the racism, quote unquote, of conservatives.
I apologize. I saw this come out today.
The massive change in America. That was today.
Yeah, no,
You figure Matt Walsh would be covering the actual news that it happened. But,
maybe I got something old. I apologize. I think I'm gonna.
no, it said it was posted today.
Yeah,
Oh, Elon Musk
it was at
retweeted it today.
It was at 3:32 a.m. He retweeted.
Oh,
So
yeah,
this
that's
is
old,
me.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
Charlie was
that's
still around.
ancient history.
What are you doing? Yeah,
I don't know. Todd Blanche, we had two beautiful children are going to grow up without an amazing father. Donald Trump said the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. And now he's no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you.
Yeah, that's a thing that actually hit me earlier. One of my friends who's not political at all, me and him were talking, and he said he had heard of Charlie but didn't know anything about him, and so he Googled him, and the first thing he said was, "Oh, and I quote, oh shit, he's got two very small kids."
Yeah,
and like it just broke his heart, and man, like that's rough. It's a very rough thing to think about.
It really is. Todd Blanche saying two beautiful children are going to grow up without an amazing father, and a wife is going to have to find a way to rebuild a shattered family. Our nation walks in grief with you. Charlie was a good and decent friend who touched millions of lives, including mine. Rest in peace, you faithful servant. A grateful nation loves you. Very well said. Todd Blanche is very well spoken. Here is Charlie Kirk. Alex Jones saying this is why they killed him. I'm not sure I want to share this. I have a feeling I'm not sure I want to go here. We'll see.
I mean, I'm here with you. I'll hold your hand.
I'm not sure I want to share this. We'll see.
Needs a catalyst. Political radicalism needs a catalyst. Political radicalism does not come out of peace, prosperity, rising wages, stable families, church attendance, and happy people. Happy people, grateful people do not get behind Vladimir Lenin, and they certainly don't get behind Chavez or Castro.
That's right.
People that own nothing, that feel like their property is diminishing, they don't have property, or their dollar is diminishing in value, they start to look for alternatives. And so the political project in front of us as conservatives should be, how do we actually de-radicalize the country in the next couple of years? That's my obsession. And that's why I say I try not to think about all this other stuff, because it just, it's so much brain space. My number one obsession is I know what is coming next. Political radicalism needs a catalyst.
And that's, well, I don't know if that's why they killed him, but I do think that it's ironic that this is kind of what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like how to get rid of that political radicalism. And basically I was suggesting cultural shift through mockery.
You're right on the cultural shift through mockery, but also if the politicians want to get rid of it, you've got to take some pressure off of the people. You've got to figure out how to get.
What does that mean exactly?
You got to figure out how to make people with their day-to-day necessities more affordable and easier to take care of, right? And I'm not talking about like welfare or anything like that. What I'm saying is, when your day-to-day necessities are not a worry for you, you don't have to budget to go put gas in your car. You're not worried about as many wild things, like, you're not going to have a whole lot of political radicalism is what I'm saying. But I don't think that's the left's major problem, though. I think they've been radicalized because they've been told for years now to fight, and go punch a Nazi in the face and go arm yourself and take to the streets. So
yeah. So I have I'm just trying to, while you're talking, I'm trying to use that as an opportunity for me to actually like put things in some sort of order. This is I think I want to stay on brand here. This is who Sean Farash is?
No. I
actually had him on this show. He's actually, to my mind, the best Trump impersonator out there.
All right.
And it took me all the strength I had not to ask him to do that while he was on my show for like the entire 2 hours. Because he doesn't want to be that joke. He's so good at it, so good, like so much better than I could ever dream of being. He's beautiful. I didn't mean to do that. So
what are you doing? I just first showed you kicked me off like that. Way to go, man.
So this is Sean Farash. He's I haven't. Again, I found this while I was doing my while I was sitting in traffic court, so I didn't even get to hear it, but I wanted to. So this is Sean Farash, who I actually admire and respect, and he's saying, "Where do we go from here?" So let's just check him out.
Yeah.
This may be a little long and maybe a little rambling, but first prayers out to Charlie Kirk's wife, his kids, his whole family. I don't know where we go from here as a country or what the answer is. I would like to think that the answer to this violence is not more violence. We can't allow the solution to the problem to allow us to become the problem. What I mean by that is we don't answer the left and everything we dislike about them by becoming them. That's, I think, what they want. It's hard to say right now what the right path forward is. There's no doubt about the fact that there is a rabid obsession with death that exists on the left. There's no doubt about that. What do we do about it? I mean, we can't crack down on speech. We can't crack down on the Second Amendment. We can't crack down on gathering. What do we do? And I'm asking that because I don't know. And I don't like some of the answers that just pop into my head, right? Well, you know, people are saying, oh, round them up, do this, do that.
You can't
do we
do
really
that.
want to cross that bridge? That's a question. I don't know. I don't think that's what we should be doing. What we're really going to need is a bunch of prominent Democrats to finally wake up and realize that what their party has been preaching, what their party has been advocating for, the rhetoric that they are using, the mainstream media, elected Democrats, the idea that anybody who you disagree with is somehow a fascist, that is what contributed to the events of today.
Yep.
And not just the events of today. That is what contributed to people taking shots at Donald Trump.
Thomas
That is what
Crooks.
contributed to all of the violence with Tesla early in the year. That is what has contributed to so much of the violence that has been perpetuated by, you know, these school shooters.
Yeah.
And we don't want to make that worse, but we have to solve that problem. And so it's a catch-22. It is going to take somebody or a group of people, but it's going to start with one in the Democrat Party to come out and say, I'm done. We're the problem. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be somebody in Congress? Is it going to be somebody in the Senate? Is it going to be a governor? Is it going to be somebody in the mainstream media? Is it going to be somebody at the DNC? I think that's the only way forward. It's going to be up to us to put pressure on Democrats, not just to denounce what happened. It's very easy to say, oh, you know, what happened was horrific and blah, 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 blah. No, actions speak louder than words.
And they follow that up with, but we have to get rid of guns. Like, it's like, which is basically saying, I don't denounce it. I'm using this as an opportunity to look like I'm not heartless while standing on my soapbox. That's
while trying to use a wedge issue, right? They're going to do it every single time. I did have a question in the middle of that, right? I'm just curious to see what you think. Do you think the left is their rhetoric and the way that the politicians are acting? They're trying to push the right into being more fascist, right? Do you think that's a possibility? Rounding up people.
So when you say the left, we need to be very careful as far as
politicians specifically,
right? And you know, the uber wealthy, like the elitists of the left.
That's who I'm talking about,
right? So do I think that is? I don't think that there's meetings.
No, not at all.
Right. So, but I do think that there's basically, I mean, there's a handful of people who are basically employing Saul Alinsky's playbook.
Exactly.
And the objective is to try and make us to live down to everything from their perspective. Yes, their objective is to make us live down to everything that they say we are. So they want to see the fascism. They want to see, you know, and because I think that those people they recognize that a completely destabilized America, and it creates a massive opportunity for them to assert far greater control.
Yes.
So I think that those people want to see us, the poors, fighting each other. They want to see blood in the streets, and they don't care about the death and carnage, feeling that they're well insulated, well protected, and they're not going to face any of it. They and their loved ones will be safe, and that if there's blood in the streets, but I don't think that's Chuck Schumer.
No,
I think you know what I'm saying, and I even don't think that's necessarily like AOC Ilhan Omar. I don't know if they're that clever.
I think they're more useful idiots.
I think there are people who control them.
Yes. Okay.
I think that these elitists are people who are basically funding them, jump-starting them. I think that they are basically one step closer to, and I think these elitists probably run in circles with Chuck Schumer also. What I'm saying is, I do think it's the George Soroses and of the world, and I think that everyone knows the name George Soros, but I think there's probably a dozen George Soroses, if not more.
Gotcha.
So that's, and I think that they're the ones who, they might not have a group meeting, but it's sort of like, like one of them will just, call up the other, and like they'll just sort of like hang out for a day, just doing whatever it is that they get their jollies with, and whether it's illicit or completely legal, and just sort of shooting the crap and being like, yeah, so this is what Bill thinks we should do, and by Bill I am referencing Gates, right? So like Bill thinks that we should go this direction. It's like, no, it's almost like like you picture like in a mob movie, like they sort of like the mafia sort of like having like different like little meetings and stuff like that. That's what I think. But instead of it being like an Italian family, that it's basically elitists who sort of like, they know each other's names, but they're not directing each other, but they just be like, okay, so this is the direction, there'll be conversations like,
more nudging each other. Hey, this is what's happened. Yeah, I got you.
And giving each other like a heads up as to like where they're going to be going and things of that nature. And they all sort of, in one degree or another, are happy to see destabilization because they recognize it's an opportunity for Amazon to get stronger. It's an opportunity for Walmart to get stronger, or Microsoft to get stronger, and to enrich their own strength and power.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I don't think it's,
and they look at Congress as their puppets.
Yeah, and either side can be useful to them.
Yeah,
right or left. Yeah.
Either side can be beneficial to that agenda, and that if they have us fighting with each other and hating each other,
we're not paying attention to them.
We're not paying attention to them, and it only furthers the agenda.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. And the destabilization of the family is something that I think, because the family is the opposite of the state. I do think that they have ultimately, if you look at what Marxism, communism is about, that is about making people become servants of the state instead of servants of their own family and themselves. And
it's the removal of family.
Yeah, and God. Yeah, removal of family.
Also, yeah, very true. Yeah.
Yeah. So remove family and God so that your only master is the state. And I think that the point to the elitist Marxist is that means we turn into Napoleon and Snowball. Not Snowball. Who's the other one? The old major. Yeah, that we basically become like, we become the pigs at the top, and we only have that, whatever slop we have now, we only have that much more. And I know that to us, we look at it like, how much more could you possibly want? And
seriously, right?
Part of human nature is that the more you have, the more hungry you are for more. Yeah. So yeah, that's my take on it. Let me catch up on let me finish this up and then I'll catch up on some chats.
Sounds good to me.
But we cannot allow ourselves to become the problem that we're looking to solve. And I'm afraid that we're on the precipice of doing that.
And what he's basically saying is he's afraid it's going to be our Reichstag fire, where we're going to start asserting control over the left. And I agree with him. He's a smart guy. I mean, he's very funny, but he's a smart guy, and I happen to agree with him 100% on this.
I am furious, with what happened with Charlie Kirk. And this has been going on long before anything happened today, long before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It's been going on for too long. Is this the moment where somebody of prominence on the left wakes up and says, we're the problem, I'm done? Because that's what it's going to take. And I don't know if we're going to get it.
I don't think one person's enough.
Pray for Charlie Kirk's family.
It's not.
And pray for our country. Because
You got to have the first domino, obviously. But
rough right now. I don't like what could come next.
Yeah, I think he's right.
I agree. It's we're at a very dangerous moment, and I think we're at a very dangerous moment, and we've got to be careful about what we're actually calling for. And just remember, what would Charlie want done in his honor? Because that's what everybody. If somebody does something stupid, they're going to say, "Well, I was doing it because of Charlie's death," and you should probably pay attention to how he would have handled this. So
yeah. I saw Cenk Uygur actually. The reason I was thinking Cenk Uygur before is because I saw him actually put out a healthy message.
Cenk did something good, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Cenk. Let me. I want to try and find. I didn't save it.
That's amazing, man. Normally, I just see him sweating on camera, screaming and yelling, and then sweeping for his nephew doing crazy stuff. I did see his nephew actually break down when he got the news on Twitch about
really
Charlie passing away. Yeah,
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised by that.
Me too, because he's a.
So what he wrote here is, I can't believe they haven't caught the shooter yet. Not catching him would be an unacceptable failure by the U.S. government. Whoever shot Charlie Kirk must be brought to justice. I'll never believe the government if they say they weren't able to catch this shooter. And he says, I'll work with anyone on the right to appeal to our better angels. We have to go forward with more empathy and love for one another, not toward more hate. And this moment is used towards drive hate and division. It'll be a second tragedy today. Let's remember we're Americans together. All right. So I'm gonna volunteer.
Good job, Cenk. Way to go, man.
I volunteer as tribute. What is that? Is that what she said?
I think that's exactly what she said. Yeah, volunteer as tribute.
There you go.
Look at that. Building bridges, I think, is what they say.
Building bridges. I'll still make fun of him, but
every day. He's too easy to make fun of. Why would come on now? You've got to.
it'll be more of aiming my fist at his shoulder than his face.
Instead of his face. Yeah, that makes sense. You got to follow your own rules now. Otherwise you'll be hypocritical. We don't want to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of people crazies from the left.
Yeah, there's tons of them.
So here's a couple of reactions.
Let this be a lesson to all those other conservative freaks, those little weirdos with podcasts. Just know your necks are on the line. Your necks. No. Your necks. Hello? Bitch, did you hear Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck? Actually, no, I'm listening to Man Down by Rihanna. State of the world.
Cringe.
I'm gagging over any fucking thing these days. So apparently at Utah Valley University, Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Bitch, I don't even know what to fucking say that one. Except you got me fucking gagging. Let this be a lesson to all those other conservative
sick.
Yeah. And this is where I'm stuck though. And I'm a free speech absolutist personally. But what do I do about this? Where it makes me sick, I do think the guy has the right to say it. And so what do? Just do a counter message to him and call him a dork, call him a nerd, call him a loser, and just do a better video than he did?
Yeah, this is a reflection of his very tiny manhood.
Agreed.
That's what it ultimately is.
Oh, yeah. Or he didn't have a father to beat the hell out of him when he was a kid. Because if I done something like this to a person I disagreed with, my grandfather and father would beat the hell out of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's where you attack. That's
so that
Charlie Kirk was his daddy.
I mean, obviously, it had to be something along those lines to let another man affect you like that. If his ideas are that terrifying to you, go out there and counter signal his ideas with better ideas.
Yeah,
that's all you had to do with Charlie.
But that's all. I mean, as far as not letting it get to you, that's part of developing a thicker skin. Not to worry about this insignificant troll, and that's what he is ultimately. He's an insignificant troll.
Yeah.
Speaking of insignificant trolls.
Oh God, he looks like an aging AIDS patient now. What is wrong with him?
Yeah, I think he's looking to star in the remake of Philadelphia.
He looks like a lesbian.
Why do they all start looking more and more like Rachel Maddow?
They do, don't they? It makes no sense.
Why? Why?
Oh God, yeah, he looks like Rachel Maddow with alopecia.
Yeah.
Come on, Don Lemon.
That is a breaking news coming into the Don Lemon channel. Charlie Kirk, who is a powerful and very far right-wing activist and executive director, of Turning Points USA, shot at a university event in Utah.
So excited.
There is a video that was posted.
Look at him trying to fight back a smile.
On social media that Charlie Kirk can be seen getting struck while speaking and sitting beneath a
Jada Pinkett Maddow,
Utah Valley University. He was there as part of the American Comeback Tour. So the press team confirmed to a news organization that Kirk had been shot, but that his condition was unknown. So Charlie Kirk, the far right-wing activist.
Far right-wing. By far right-wing, they mean very successful.
Yeah.
And powerfully delivering
making
his
a
message.
difference. Yeah, actually making a difference and reaching the youth instead of trying to beat everybody over the head with ideas. So,
shot at a university event in Utah. This is still breaking. We'll get more details as they become available. Charlie Kirk has been shot.
Honestly, I mean, he looks like he has a pocket of Werther's Originals. I don't understand. he looks like a little old lady. It bothers me, Joe. I'm trying to watch him and I'm going, that looks like somebody's old grandma who has a pocket full of hard candies covered in lint. It just makes no sense. What happened to him? Man.
Did you hear about the whole thing with Matthew Dowd while we're covering these crazy leftists?
No, what happened with him?
I think this is the right clip.
I'm not sure. Man. You've already fumbled one. Let's not do it twice.
In which a shooting like this.
I saw this clip, but I didn't watch it. I didn't get a chance to actually watch it.
I haven't watched it yet either.
Yeah.
But.
Happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun.
It's Matthew Dowd talking now.
Celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place. And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
So I'm going to ask you a quick question now.
Okay.
You just heard what this jackass said.
Yes.
Do you think, as he works for MSNBC, do you think that for saying this, they applauded him, defended him, gave him a promotion, or fired him?
Oh, they applauded him and defended him, I'm sure.
I'm
positive.
You're positive.
Yeah. Now, I don't know about the promotion. Probably a promotion, but maybe not. But we should, everybody go get your lockers and shove him in one. Right now, get your lockers prepared when you see him and just shove him in and call him a nerd, because that was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my entire life. That
I'm about to shock you, brother.
Are you? Oh, damn. Wow. They shoved him in the locker for us. Look at that.
Yeah.
And see, that's what they should do, though, is when they fire somebody like this, at the bottom, it should be, he was a real nerd. Seriously, though. Just a big, stupid nerd. And make fun of him.
Yeah.
And so people would stop doing this stuff. They've been untouchable for too long. And
that's what Kathy Chanette is the one who shared this with me.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah. So, and it was I'm going to publicly, I don't think I've been doing this show for 3.5 years now. I'm going to publicly applaud MSNBC for the first time in my life.
Yeah, way to go. Good job, MSNBC.
Very well done.
Way to go. You should have called him a nerd.
They probably did. They probably, if they went so far as firing him, they probably did.
Like at the moment.
That is the most uplifting thing I've heard from today.
Yeah,
it really is, because this is exactly what. It's not like that we have to call for him to be fired. That they're just like, this is not what we want our channel to be.
It's one of the craziest things, though, because you hear a lot of lefties talk about victim blaming, and that's what he was doing right there, right? Like that's literally what he was doing. And so, way to go, MSNBC. I'm optimistic a little bit. I'm still keeping an eye on you.
There you go.
I'm still side-eyeing you, but
there you go.
We'll see. All right, what do we got next on the docket, Joe? That whole long tab of things that are dragging your computer down.
You want to look at how we're doing. Look at the tabs.
Oh man,
we've been rocketing through them.
We're cooking, man.
Yeah, we are.
God, look how sad his face looks right there. That's a sad looking man. He looks like a thumb with glasses.
that's a nice way of saying penis head.
I was gonna say that, but you
were, but then you're like, it was respect. It was.
I'm trying to be a little more respectful with tonight's show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Barb Loves Alaska said, was just watching a huge vigil for Seattle for Charlie Kirk, and Seattle is a huge leftist city. It was great to see people there signing and praying. Charlie woke many up even in Seattle. That's what I'm saying. This could be a great moment.
I feel it. Yeah.
This can be a great moment. Don't let the trolls like that loser there who's dancing.
Yeah.
Let the left mock him and fire him and like basically be embarrassed by him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And express their embarrassment. And that is really how this really could be a very positive turning moment. Yeah. White women, everything is performative, even if it's genuine. Can't answer the phone. Let me see. 2/3 of y'all. I have over 260 votes, and roughly 2/3 of y'all, 66-30, 60. What's the final number here? Final number is 66% coming in and saying they think that she was being performative there. So,
all right.
Yeah, you nailed it. Roy Gain says Charlie Kirk lived as he died, telling college kids to shut the F up.
I mean, hey, if you love what you do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Use some of the links I send you. They're split up into categories and ready to go. Thank you, Jim. Jim sends me video. He sends me links every day to give me like. I have to show. You know what? You're here, so I just want you to appreciate just what this dude does for me.
Oh, Jim's a great guy. Like he is a good personal friend of mine.
I haven't even looked, okay, but I'm just going to show you. You know, you saw the tabs I had open.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what Jim sends me.
Holy Jim. What do you...
That's what he sends me.
How are you aggregating all that? I need to get you to produce for my show, but...
Dude is awesome and amazing.
Man alive, man.
And he just like, you know, this, and he also categorizes. So if I made this bigger, you'll see, he says, this is the media saying crappy stuff about Charlie Kirk before an assassination. And I told him I need to know which ones are videos and which ones are not. So he actually
he started labeling the videos. And
yes. Although many of these I'm sure are videos. If I just open one,
something embedded in them.
Yeah, you see.
Yeah. But the video of this one's not the important part. It's probably the statement itself. So
yeah, whatever. I mean, or maybe sometimes I think most of these are probably videos, but deranged social media posts by the left, official statements by government officials. I mean, yeah, he's right-wing social media posts. What is TPUSA according to the left? He gave me a little graphic warning here. News stories on the shooting. Then he had other stories in case I wanted to cover that, which I was like, no, tonight's just Charlie Kirk. Tonight's Charlie's night.
Yeah.
So
good job, Jim. Man,
I share it with you here because I wanted everyone to appreciate, just how hard the guy works for me. And then if you're wondering why are you always redirecting us over to Jim? Well, now you know.
Yeah, Jim tells you. Jim is a great guy, and he's actually a really good personal friend of mine. So I'm glad I met him.
Let me in fact I want to set that up now before I forget.
Redirect over the Jim tells you. Sleeping. I can't wait to be retired.
Is he live now?
I don't know yet. I think he said he wasn't going to stream tonight because he's too angry. Jim's show is more. I mean, he jokes and tells funny stuff, but he's normally just strictly news. Old Fox,
Let's go on with some of these leftists. So Brian Tyler Cohen, and this is what some people on the right are upset about. Like they feel like there's a hypocrisy here, which is the Charlie Kirk shooting is beyond horrific, legitimately disgusted the broken state of this country. And here's Gunther Eagleman pointing out all the times that this guy, Brian Tyler Cohen, who's a big voice on the left,
I know who he
was
is.
bashing Charlie Kirk.
Oh no! I heard Harry Sisson was deleting his critical post about Charlie Kirk.
Really?
Literally right before I came onto the show. Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to look into it. So
now,
Brian.
So now, to be fair,
yes,
because I want to just I don't like, I don't like. I like looking at things objectively. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of crappy things I've said about Brian Tyler Cohen.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, or where I've yelled at him or whatever, and for being like, some empty vessel thing.
Okay.
Now, if God forbid someone shot him and killed him,
of course,
would that make me now someone who called for it? Because if I look at these posts, I don't see anywhere here where he's basically saying, someone needs to take out Charlie Kirk. He's mocking Charlie Kirk, but he's not. Well, nothing he's saying. If you read through all of these here,
the only one I could see that may rile someone up is that very top one on the second row that I don't want to fully read out being on YouTube because sometimes they'll but that's the only one I see. But even that's not a call for violence. So if you want to play devil's advocate, he's doing what we do on our side. He's giving his opinion. He's allowed to do that, and he's voicing it.
And that's why I disagree with Gunther in critiquing him here. I mean, it's a nice own, but it's nicer that he said this. I can appreciate the fact, and I bash this guy up and down, but I can appreciate the fact that he didn't use this as an opportunity to talk about Second Amendment and whatever and gun control, and he just and
he's not running from it either. I assume he hasn't deleted his Charlie Kirk post. So
I don't know, but
that's what I would be concerned about is doing that and not.
I don't think
if you said it.
I don't think
I don't either. That's what I was about to say. If you said it, stand on business because you can feel one way about somebody and then feel sympathy if something bad happens for him. You know what I mean? I don't like Harry Sisson, but I don't want anything to happen to him. Also, because when I get bored, I do like to go troll him on Twitter, and it would be very sad if I couldn't go make fun of him. So
I think I love making fun of Harry Sisson, but I definitely don't want to see someone harm him.
Exactly,
like, that would really bother me. Yeah. So, and then we have this guy who this is the person I never imagined when he was elected that he would become like my favorite Democrat, and that's John Fetterman.
Oh, he really did turn a corner, man. Oh, dude, he really turned a corner, and I don't hate him as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, no, I thought I was going to despise this guy. I thought he was going to be like, a squad member in the Senate, and he's
in a heartbeat too. I thought he would just be right over there the moment he got there, and he's really pushed back on a lot of the rhetoric that they have.
Yeah, yeah. So this is obviously before it was announced that he had died, and he really has been like the most sensible voice on the left over the last since Trump's been elected, I think. So kudos to John Fetterman for that. So I shared with you some of the ugly. I wanted to share with you some of the good. But
I mean, not everybody's a bad person on the left, man. You can't. That's the problem in politics is painting people with a broad brush, and you gotta be very careful with that, I think.
Yeah. Here's Nick Freitas. Let's get some people on the right who are weighing in and some of their thoughts. You know who Nick Freitas is?
I don't think so.
You see his face, you'll probably recognize it.
Probably. I watched this guy's video earlier today. Yeah.
I'm
terrible with names though, so I just
that's
I forgot who you
Let's
were.
get, one thing straight. They didn't murder Charlie Kirk because he was an extremist or a fascist or a threat to democracy or inciting violence or any of the other reasons that they're now trying to put out on X and TikTok and everywhere else. They murdered him because he was effective. He was effective. The man made incredible arguments while at the same time always trying to seek out common humanity. He might have disagreed with arguments, but he didn't hate anyone. And they murdered him. That's what happened. Let's get one thing straight.
Very short, succinct, and powerful. I'm a big fan of Nick Freitas. So I think he's great.
Yeah.
He can just he has a way with his ability to express himself. Here's Greg Gutfeld supposedly going off. This was shared by Nick Sorter. I haven't seen this yet, but again, this is from the collection of things I stumbled on while I was sitting in court.
Yeah, I know that it's somewhat object of mockery to say thoughts and prayers, but thoughts and prayers for his family. They need it from all of us. And Jesse's right. If they could do this, they are capable of anything. I think that was the message. I believe that was the message. It's really hard to radicalize Republicans.
Yeah.
It's like we're not the radical type. But if you thought that you were going to shut a movement down, you're going to get a rude awakening. You woke us the fuck up.
And we will.
He looks genuinely angry.
He does, yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree.
He looks genuinely angry.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen angry Greg. So
yeah, he's always joking around, but that was real anger.
And see if he can keep that fire, though. Again, that's what I'm worried about. Is this being a flash in the pan? Because so many of these events, they are, man.
Yeah.
The right can be lazy, man. We can definitely be very lazy and get very comfortable very fast. So,
you want to see a couple more right-wing people that Jim sent over here, picking things up?
Sure. Let's run
All
some
right.
Jim videos. He's not going to stream tonight anyway. So,
Yeah. Let me just. All right. So the way we'll do this is, I haven't gone through any of these yet. This is the way the way I normally would do it is I just start opening. Thanks. I mean, do that.
On just the news that he's passed. Yes, is this what I'm hearing? Yes, can I get here?
I mean,
Yes. Wow, right here.
Yeah. All right. That's. I didn't mean to do it like that. I meant to actually just open tabs. Yeah, I see. This is why I feel like I have to do it beforehand. Because if I try doing this now, like I don't want to find stuff like for when he was,
passed away.
Before he died. Like it's just like it gets very confusing. Like that's why if I don't get a chance to go through it beforehand, I'm just like I feel very unprofessional doing that on the air. So I think it's time for me to start landing my plane here. We're at the hour mark anyway, but. let me get to the last chats here, and in case, and we'll run through those, and we'll have you tell everyone where they can find you.
All right.
And I'm gonna put another poll up. Should I have Cynic come back? We'll leave that.
Just sacrifice me to the corn like that. Yeah.
Cynic ever come
ever come back. Yeah.
And we'll start that poll there. All right. So
all right. Let's see how this goes. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, well, you can sit there logging in on the different.
I'm gonna just go make a ton of alt accounts right now as we speak.
All right, let me catch up on some of these chats.
Let's do this, man.
All right. That's where we're at. The ultimate shame for them would be getting a Trump T tattoo on their forehead.
It'd be funny. That'd be hilarious, right?
That would be the best punishment. I have to go, Cynic. I'm glad to see you on a bigger channel, buddy. You're doing good things. I'll be in chats tomorrow. See you there. All right,
brother.
I guess that's one person expecting you not to come back. Roarcast says, I'm not a Christian, but I agree with Charlie about like 85% and 90% what he advocated for. It's very sad. Humanity lost a good one today. RIP Charlie Kirk. Lauren Kremen sent you a DM, glimmer of hope from young folks in Connecticut. You did. Let me see what you sent me here.
Oh, that'd be huge. Connecticut's pretty left, right? So having a group of
It
kids
is.
actually, it's the funniest thing. I was talking to my friends about. There's such a mismatch of young men, for example, that are very conservative and then also very left right now. And I'm seeing a lot more young conservative men than I've ever seen in my life. And it gives me a little hope, man. It gives me a little hope. And I hope they stick with it, because what's the saying? When you're young, you're a liberal, and then you grow up and you turn more conservative or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope they stick with it.
They say when you're young, if you're not a liberal, you have no heart.
Exactly.
And when you're old and you're not a conservative, you have no brain.
You have no brain. Yeah, that's it. That's the saying. So I hope they stick with it, man, because it's very impressive seeing like my nephews and stuff just be really based about things. I mean,
so this is what was happening in Connecticut that Lauren shared with me. In a display of unity across the political aisle, young Democrats of Connecticut and Connecticut young Republicans have issued a joint statement offering prayers for Charlie Kirk and condemning political violence. What happened at Utah Valley University this afternoon is unacceptable. We reject all forms of political violence. There's no place in our country for such acts, regardless of political disagreements. We are praying for Charlie Kirk, his family, and all those at Utah Valley University impacted by this horrible act as the community processes and recovers. Wow, that is very inspiring. I think that would make him feel really happy.
I agree with that, man. I really do. There has to start being some sort of bridge building here.
Yeah.
There has to. We have to like remember to agree to disagree on certain things. We're never going to we're never going to agree on everything.
And perhaps at the very least, even if it's not a complete change, perhaps this can become the doorway for people to stop making calls for violence or and the punch in the face like that 2.5-minute video that we saw. That at the very least, that could be, his Charlie Kirk's legacy. That people are like, no, that's just wrong. This should not ever be happening.
Agreed.
And perhaps that could be, part of his, like a significant part of his legacy, if in fact that becomes part of the cultural perspective. And I don't think that's a difficult thing I don't think that's a high bar to set for what can come out of this, that we see this.
Of course not. I think it's the bare minimum, right?
Yeah. I think that could actually be a very beautiful thing that can come out of this.
Yeah.
That is very heartwarming. Thank you for sharing that with me, Lauren, and with all of us. DC Comics writer Gretchen Felker, Martian is evil.
Oh yeah.
Martin.
Oh yeah. I posted that today.
There's never I have no evidence that there's ever been a good human named Gretchen.
No, yeah, now that you think about it, sure.
I'm I'm just saying.
We're gonna have to do an experiment on that. We have to run the numbers on that. Go ask Grok.
Even
Has
on
there ever
Three's,
been a-
even on Three's Company, she was always referred to as Greedy Gretchen.
Oh,
you know,
shit.
so that I just dated myself. I know, but yeah. But somewhere out there, there's a bunch of graybeards who are laughing. So yeah, this I got earlier. Is it known if roof access is interior or exterior to the roof of the building? So now this is actually referencing something I did not bother with, which is Alex Jones shared this out, and a bunch of people are sharing this out. And I'm glad that JS sent this. I don't know anything about the actual physical building where this event took place, but this is what Alex Jones shared out. There he is on the roof. You can sort of up here.
Get right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying. He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in. Now he's right there.
It has to have interior access. That type of building.
What was that?
It has to have interior access. I think it was a question that somebody asked. Was it interior or exterior access? That type of building, there has to be interior somewhere.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
Although they said he ran up from the top of the building, so maybe he didn't use that access.
Yeah.
Maybe he used that to get out. I don't know. But let's just check out this first minute of Alex Jones.
Under a rock, you know that medical grade methylene.
Let me see. This is not what I was looking for.
It's commercial, magic bullet, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
You ain't gonna buy you none of that. He's giving you 20% off, Joe. I know you love it.
There is. I can't. All right. So there you go. All right. Guess we're not going to be doing that. Guess we're not going to be doing that. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling attention to that. NY Renal MD says few people remember Dowd was the chief strategist for the Bush-Cheney 2004 presidential campaign. Something to think about, especially Cheney. Interesting. I did not remember that. So good job, NY Renal. They're all cleaning up their bad posts because they're insecure. It's just own it. Just be like, look, I didn't call for violence. I basically said
what I believe.
Yeah, I believe what I believe. I'm not calling for violence. You know, I believe that they're promoting an evil ideology. You know, I happen to, on a personal level, I can enjoy. I had Brian Krasenstein on my show here, and I enjoyed hanging out with him. Like, you know, I can laugh with him, but I do think he's a shill for leftist ideology.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah.
And I'll call him out on it. But like, it's not. I would never want to see something terrible happen to him. I just try to wake him up. The left lacks principles. They'll flee and hide all their bad deeds. Don't let them slide. Yeah, no, I don't mind that. I'm just saying to say that I don't think it's fair to say that Brian Tyler Cohen was calling for someone to harm Charlie Kirk. That's my point. You can call him out that he's like, yeah, come on. Are you really? But I can appreciate that he comes out with an unfiltered, no ulterior motive, at least in that post. You know what I'm saying? There's no obvious agenda, secondary agenda that's baked into the post where he's, which is what other people did, like you know, Pocahontas did that. So
yeah, he's not trying to sweep away his beliefs before, and he's not trying to push another narrative, you know, like a gun control or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The 14 and 22-year-olds had their MLK Jr. moment. Yeah, maybe.
That's very true. I think so. First thing I thought of. Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that. I appreciate.
Yeah, they correlated to me pretty quickly. Yeah.
Wow. Trump won. He gutted USAID, cutting off Democratic Party's donation gravy train. Democratic Party's coffers are at historic lows. They're desperate. Well, I don't think this is going to help. If they think this is going to help, I don't think so. The right is not lazy. Just we have better things to do, like work, and not constantly complaining. This is true.
That's true.
I was unfamiliar with Cynical and was thinking this was not the night, but this was exactly the night. We needed Cynic's energy. I'm now a fan. Look at that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So someone, I'm gonna have to check on where you're holding on that poll, but I'm feeling like Adrian is liking the vibe. We've been building bridges for decades, and we'll continue. It's not our fault. I don't think I said or implied it was at all our fault. But a lot of people would use this as a basis to say we're done because they're too violent. And what I'm saying
they're gonna
is, what I'm
burn the
saying
boat.
is, right, don't burn this is exactly the wrong time to burn the boat.
Yeah.
The other side won't cooperate. Ben, Kirk, and crowd have all tried to bridge the gap. That's true. That's true. But perhaps this is a bit of a wake-up call. I don't know. Hopefully. We'll never see left invite those that disagree to come to front of line and debate. That's probably true. That's probably true. Because I think that they have fear. They have fear of being exposed. But at least to tone down the rhetoric. At least to tone down, you can, even if there is divisive, to not be continually labeling everyone who disagrees with them as being fascist, and to basically condemn, to teach their own audience not to just start knee-jerk reacting to everyone as being racist fascists.
When you say the worst thing in the world is a fascist, and then you label everybody you disagree with as a fascist, the only outcome is to see, is what we saw today. That's it. Eventually, you're going to push people to the point where they go, well, enough's enough, and they think they've got to take out the fascists, and we saw that today. So
ZP23 says, please tell Rude Daly to STFU on this night of trying to process his death. Thank you for many in this space. I didn't. Oh, I see. I missed this over here. This was someone who was trolling in my chat. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to mute him forever. There you go. I hope that was a $10. That was $10 rant from ZP23.
I mean, see what $10 gets you around here, folks.
That's what 10 bucks got you. That I just muted that dude forever. No, I scrolled up and it was just like he's like screaming, like Charlie Kirk is a racist and got what he deserved. I'm like, you know what? If you're that clueless, I don't think you're adding anything to the conversation.
Yeah, you're not.
So,
helping with the narrative at all.
And I appreciate him calling to my attention that was something that needed to be taken care of, and we did. So, good job there. Breck Nichols says, "Have Cynic on again." Yes, hire the handicapped.
This is starting to turn into my normal chat. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, my audience is giving you too much favorability.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna have to. If I'll tell you this much, if he gets under 50% in this poll, I'll go for another hour.
What are you doing? You're just trying to stack the deck against me. Oh, look, of all nights, I already said, yeah, you know what? I'll come on. You actually talked me into coming on because you said I think people need a little levity, and I said, yeah, sure, we can do that. That's fine with me. And now you're just trying to, whatever, man. I'll see how it is, Joe.
Right. Okay. So, we never see left invite those. I will not toe down myself. I don't label those I disagree with as evil. Right. Well, I have. I admit I have, and I think that I'm actually going to try and change that. I'm still going to label their actions as being evil.
You can have evil actions, but still.
But instead of labeling Jasmine Crockett as being inherently evil,
I
will say that she advocates for inherently evil ideas. I'll say she's a promoter of evil. That's different from saying she's evil. I think there's and it might sound like it's not significant difference, but it is. I think it is a significant difference. I choose my words pretty carefully, and I also continually tell people that I abhor political violence. I think it's completely. I think political violence is an evil act. So. And I don't care whether the victim is on the left or the right. It's just
unjustified violence is evil, is inherently evil no matter what you do. So
100%.
Yeah.
And someone's political views is not justification.
I agree.
So I think that's pretty much it. Where we at in this poll in the end?
You tried to stack it, and I was watching the numbers after you said that just to see what would happen. and it immediately dipped down into 70% for the first time. I was like, come on, Joe. What are you doing to me? Sabotaging me.
All right, came in here at 79%. Well done,
See?
you.
Look at that.
Well done, you. And all right, fine. I think that's what I got. Please give me. It's first and foremost, send me links in case someone is interested in Todd Tunes and wants to find you somewhere besides on my channel. So if you can DM me links, I'll put them into the description.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do
And
that right now.
and that way I can, tell people where they can find you. And if you want to tell people, I'll give you, 60 seconds. Tell people where they can find you, what you're up to, if you're so inclined. You don't have to, but if you want,
you can find me at FFS Podcast every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and at Ambient Aristotle on the Twitterverse. And then that's pretty much it right now. That's it.
all right.
Let's go.
You sending me those in a DM?
I'm DMing you the link to the channel right now. So
All right, I'm gonna put it up after the show. You stay here.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So I guess closing thoughts. Do you have any closing thoughts you want to give on Charlie Kirk or anything before?
No, I think I pretty much said it all, man. It is a watershed moment, and I think you just need to we all need to keep our foot on the pedal, and if you want it to make a difference, well, be that difference.
Yeah. I think those are good words, and I also would add that this being what I agree is potentially a significant watershed moment, that each of us can look within ourselves as to how we can use this as an opportunity to make ourselves better at making the world better. And I do think that that's a way of honoring Charlie Kirk's legacy in ways that are wholly consistent with what the man stood for. So our thoughts and prayers will continue to go out to him and his family and those who, knew him best and are most significantly feeling their loss. And may God grant them quick condolences. I hope to see the rest of you tomorrow evening. And I'll just remind you that lab meat is not meant for you. It's meant for they, them. So stay away and do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Don't touch it. Don't eat them. You don't want it. It's not you. Play the clip I just DM'd. Play the clip I just Do you know how this works?
Show works. What are you doing, man? Coming in under the wire?
All right,
close the poll.
I'm fine. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna play
Better be a
this,
good
and
clip.
this is a good one to close on.
Okay.
This is a good one to close on. I'm gonna close out the show with this and just remind the world why it is that everyone loves, and properly so, Charlie Kirk. And with that, good night and Godspeed.